69 of TrueHouse live stream. The date today is Tuesday the 8th of June 2021. Very corny thing to say. Is it the 8th of June? I always have to double and triple check this. I'm terrible with dates. Literally, this is the problem with me being removed from the schedule of work. Schedule. Yeah, it's the 8th of June. Okay, so what are we now? July, August, September, October, November. My word, we are halfway through 2021 already. I've been on lockdown since the 9th of March last year. So while I'm waiting for people to arrive on camera, what I might do is a bit of an indulgence, but I'm just going to have a little look on my OnePlus 9 Pro here and just look. Yes, I am working. Sorry, just checking the audio. I'm trying to make an effort with audio with this microphone, which is a lovely microphone to use, and use it I shall. It's a Sontronics Pro. You can probably see it there, just as a quick tange. Yeah, I like these a great deal, actually. They're a local firm, I believe. Let me just try that angle there a bit more. Yeah, that'll do. Sorry, I'm making the cameras wobble, aren't I? My bad. Sorry, guys. Just trying to get the back of that camera a bit tighter. Nothing worse than having a camera that actually, let's just see where we got the top of that there. So I'm getting a bit fussy with my in my old age with angles of dangle. Right, you can see the end of that paper I've got behind me there. So really, we want to be kind of here. Yeah, it's just about there to the edge of the mic. Sorry guys, apologies. What an amateur, Justin, what an amateur you are, messing around with your microphone whilst you're on screen. But yeah, it's a Sontronics Podcast Pro, and it's let me just get the box before I embarrass myself again like I did the other night, trying to identify the difference between dynamic and, oh goodness me, cardioid, no. Hang on, here's the box. I have the box. All right. Okay, the box. See? Podcast Pro. It's the box. From whence it came. Sontronics Podcast Pro, specifications, it's a super cardioid. Right, now I need to understand, okay, it's a dynamic mic, right? So cardioid is, our Podcast Pro is a broadcast quality dynamic microphone specifically developed for podcast, radio, voiceover, video, voiceover streaming and gaming applications. So this, basically, okay? Oh, that's a good idea. Actually, it's got that. Yeah, I just realised I've got a little ledge there. Right. The Podcast Pro is a tightly focused super cardioid pattern, reproducing your voice with outstanding detail, presence, and depth. The mic's excellent side rejection allows you to record group podcasts or interview guests without risk of spill, while its internal protection and built-in pop shield. Yeah, this is what I've found. A lot of mics require a pop shield. This has an inbuilt pop shield. A lot of other mics require you to have a circular disc or even a pair of tights you might have seen. This has got a pop shield built in, so I haven't got to buy one. When you see things like Blue Yeti, which I do have actually, they've often got this external sort of caged pop shield around it, which I don't need. Built-in polished pop shield provides superb control of plosive, okay? Plosive, as he headbutts it with his hat, sounds and sibilant voices. I'm not sure about that word. I must look up the word sibilant. What a great word, sibilant. S-I-B-I-L-A-N-T. Ensuring professional results every time, easy to set up and position. The podcast, I'll second that. Podcast Pro is compatible with all desktop, floor-mounted and angled mic stands, and it sounds fantastic wherever you are, professional studio, home environment, vocal booth, radio station or mobile podcast setup. For podcast, radio, gaming, voiceover or even capturing sung vocals and instruments. The Podcast Pro guarantees perfection with consistent studio quality. Slow down, Justin. Studio quality results on every single take. Right, that's me just talking too fast for my own mouth. Yeah, I like it a lot. They're doing great colours too. I'm just getting used to it, basically. That's the upshot of it. Sorry guys, I have a little friend here. I've got my little baby. Again, I'm just going to show him on camera again. He's here. I'm just trying to develop a shelf. I've got a little stand to the left of me, and that's where he's going to sit. So I know he's here. And currently the stand, or should I say the plinth, that's a better word, the plinth he's on is a convenient elbow rest. Now I've got my elbow on an elbow rest, which is cool. Okay, I'm just going to kill some time, talk a bit of bollocks and wait for people to arrive while I scratch my left tricep / armpit area. Stephen Crowder, yeah. Oh, by the way, tonight being super truthful, every live stream I do is very, very truthful, hence the name. Giveaways the name, TrueHouse live stream, TrueHouse stream. God, satisfying but ridiculous itch. It's specifically left tricep. Anyway, oh God, you know when you scratch an itch and you're like, oh, just the relief. Whoa, you get goosebumps. It has gone. The itch has left the building. Actually, that's weird. Let's talk about that. What's just occurred live on camera. Symmetrical itches. Don't tell me you haven't had that. Don't tell me you haven't had that. I know I'm more prone to it because of the whole kidney thing, the whole dialysis transplant thing I've had. But to get symmetrical itches on your body is not unusual. I think a lot of people do. I'd love to understand the parasympathetic nervous system a bit more than I currently do, and delve into that one, because I think it must be something to do with that. Our sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system, I wonder. Biology I've forgotten. Anyway, and now it's gone down onto the lower tricep. This is the thing with reflexology, isn't it? When someone does something to your foot that affects your liver, etc., etc., if you're into all that. So, yeah, I mean, look, I need to mention, I did you know, I take notes throughout the day when I have thoughts. Sorry, I'm just rubbing my hair gets in my eyes, you see. Yes, I have. No, it's due for a shave actually. It's due for a shave. But seriously, guys, it's the beauty of having no hair. Just whack on a hat anyway. Yeah, you know. What did we see recently on the news? Actually, I wonder if I should move that, if it's going to be annoying. No, it seems to be all right, actually. Just wonder if I should change my angle a bit. Sorry, I'm so fussy. I'm so bloody fussy about angles and whatnot. Mind you, as long as that's close to my math, then we're happy, aren't we? Really. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. That's a good angle. That's all right. So, yeah, mind you, while there's no one here, I don't mind fucking around with this while there's no one here. Sorry, I know it's just super annoying, isn't it, for people if they do come back. If any of you are so inclined and don't to come back and watch the early part of this live stream, you'll literally see me ponce about between up here or down there. Basically what gives me more hand flap freedom, because I'm prone to being very animated with my hands. Actually, when it's up there, I get more, because I can do this more. Like the symbol with the, you know, the monkey with the cymbals? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That wasn't me farting, that was the mic boom arm creaking. This is great for me because there's literally nobody here yet. There's no one in the room yet, so I get to kill some some live on-air time mucking about with my mic. Right, that's full extension there. Mind you, that's a bit in my face, isn't it? Yeah, that's a bit in my eyesight. I wonder if I should just have it more here. Yeah, that's better. That's better. It's kind of best of both worlds there. All right. Okay, Justin. Sorry, I'm always prone to talking to myself. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try and multitask. I'm going to talk and adjust the mic because that's how I roll. So, I see the ball. No, that's a good angle. That's a good angle. Yeah, just about there. Okay, it needs to, sorry about this, whacking it. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. A little bit closer. So, did any of you see, it's not hard to find this, by the way, that dickhead, you know, I'm going to speak about this woman as if she's just some nasty bloke in the playground, because really, and I'll make no bones about this, when you're talking about Kamala Harris, you may as well speak about her in the same tone, well I do, I've got nothing to lose, as you would do a nasty male bully in the playground, because she's at the same level of contempt. I mean, talk about turncoat and duplicitous and Machiavelli. I mean, these are the words that, seriously, without any forethought, these words just leap into my, you know, my own repertoire, vernacular, whatever, my own just instant sort of blurb ability. I look at that piglet, because she is, isn't she? She's a hellish creature, and I see, number one, I see a sociopath. Let's just call her, and a lot of these people, you know, with regard to the technocracy, they are sociopathic. Don't tell me Mark Zuckerberg isn't a sociopath. I mean, don't even try. Seriously, don't even pretend that Mark Zuckerberg isn't a complete sociopath. And I'd go so far as to say a few of them border into psychopath. So it's psychopathy, and you know, it's incredibly, it really tickles me that a lot of these people like Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Jack Dorsey, Susan Wojcicki over at YouTube, a lot of these people, you always know you're in trouble with sociopath / psychopaths. Actually, this really does warrant an entire live stream on this subject, on this topic. It does. It makes for a great theme. The minute you see one of these people list themselves to describe themselves self-appointed, always self-appointed, as a philanthropist. No, they're not a philanthropist. They're oh goodness, what's the word for someone that's actually a hater of humankind? God, so you've got bigot, misogynist, oh goodness me, this is a word that I do know. I'm going to have to Google this, hang on. Hey Google. What is the word for a hater of humankind?
On the website Merriam-Webster.com, they say, a person who hates or distrusts humankind. To find out more, look for the link in your Google Home or Google Assistant app.
Hater of humankind. Misanthrope, that's it, misanthrope. So they're not philanthropic, they're misanthropic. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so forget about, oh, I'm a philanthropist, you know, I'm into doing philanthropic things. No, you're a misanthrope. You hate humans. It's really easy to see, by the way, guys. So I'm just going to tighten this boom arm up a little bit. It's incredibly easy, very hygienic, as I lick the wood to clean it, my wooden table here. But seriously, guys, these people are very easy to spot. I can't even, I can't. I'm saying it, sort of tongue in cheek. Oh, Justin's joking. Well, am I? Really? These people, they're. I just want to make sure I've got this angled right. Yeah, that's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah, and I'll extend the title of misanthrope to Kamala Harris. I'm just going to check I've got this thing tight under the table, so I'm going to duck down off camera for a bit. Cool. That's got it. That's done it. That's done it. Done it. Remember that from Dreamcatcher, Stephen King. Done it. The weird one. There's a film that could have been so much more because the book was crazy. Damien Lewis, wasn't it? Talking to the devil and being all demonic, and strange film when you watch it back, actually, Dreamcatcher. Right, so I've got microphone. It's a good rotation. So the back of that hits the back of that arm, so I can rotate all the way. Look at my face frowning like, look at this, look. I've got my eyes are deep set enough as they are. I'm like, turn your face into a cliff, Justin. Yeah, so they're not philanthropic, they're misanthropic. These people. Completely misanthropic. Hold up. So I'm literally, as you can tell, I'm just biding time. Get it? Biding time. Talking about the VP, his VP, Kamala. I'm just waiting for people to come on. So it's not like there's a great sense of urgency for me to blurt this section of the live stream out. Anyone who comes back to watch this just can jump into, 20 minutes? I'm 18 minutes in now. And I've said nothing for myself. I've just literally uttered bollocks, killing time. On her recent trip to Guatemala, the adorable, and isn't she adorable? She's about as adorable as a turd, as about adorable as Fauci. So you're dealing with pathological liars. This is a woman that ran against her president now. Her president is Joe Biden. And if, again, these people, and when I say these people, I'm talking specifically about the politicians, the political elite, legacy, old legacy, one in the same. Legacy media, old media, mainstream media, just not this media. Don't get me wrong, I'm not making any comparisons between what I'm doing and the media. I'm just saying that all of us now, if we've being smartphone enabled, we're all able to be a broadcaster. Anyone can stream now. It's pretty, if I can do it, believe me, anyone can, because I'm, hardly a pro. So if you want a giggle, I can put up on YouTube if you like. The citizens, many citizens of Guatemala were lining the streets with placards saying, mind your own business, Kamala, go home, Kamala, comma, Trump won. I just found this to be hilarious because it's, let's just talk about the messaging, shall we? When these utter bastards were running, and this is what your average lefty will not admit. If you've got someone, I'll put it to you now. If you've got someone in your family that's woke, you know what I mean by that. If you've got a member of your family that's part of the woke cult, because it is a cult, let's have it right, it's a cult, and you say to them, hey, your gods, because it is demagoguery, isn't it? It's a form of demagoguery, and they're worshipping their gods. They think they're literally omnipotent, godlike. If you said to your Labour / Democrat lefty woke person now, What were your people, as in Biden, Kamala, campaigning for during the run up to this election? What was their message? What were they running on? Yeah, what was their campaign on? And they'd be very reluctant to, they'd be very reticent, is the word I'm looking for, to tell you what, because they've developed amnesia. That's what I'm looking for, my hanky. They've developed, due to groupthink, due to cognitive dissonance, literally witchcraft, wizardry, Hogwarts level spells at a international level, really. There's your conspiracy, that you're convincing people, your own supporters, that something's happening, or you're running for something that you're not going to manifest ever, you're not going to do. I remember very clearly, and the beauty of the technology we have at our fingertips now, anyone with a smartphone can simply jump onto YouTube right now and look at what the likes of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were running on. And their message was basically they didn't have one. Their entire campaign, their entire message was, whatever Donald Trump says, we're not that. So I shit you not, this is the level of it's very infantile. I mean, it's really infantile. I'll give you an example. If Trump had walked up to a microphone and said, oh, no, I was going to do an impression then. Actually, I'm not going to. No, I can't do it. I'm going to lose it. I'm not that good. I can't do it. Okay, remove it. No, I can't find it. Sometimes it just comes out. It's like, okay, no, the voice ain't there. Anyway, so if Trump had come out and said something very non-negotiable, really, something really objective, like water is wet. In a way, I wish he had. I wish he'd come out and said, "Good evening, I'm Donald Trump. Here's my hands. Water is wet." That they would have said, out of loyalty to opposing Trump, out of misplaced loyalty to espousing or positing anything that is the polar opposite of Trump, wouldn't they have been duty bound to say, wouldn't Joe Biden and Kamala Harris wouldn't it have been their duty to say water is dry or water is wet? Well, that's a matter of opinion, we don't find it wet, or grass is green. I really, the reason I'm being a child about this is because the politics of these adults, because this is where I as a 49-year-old, I'm like, hang on, where are the adults? Even if you go back and watch the 2016 stuff with Clinton, Hillary Pig Clinton, and don't get me wrong, Trump is a piece of poo. He really is. He's awful. But even then, it wasn't based in reality. It wasn't based in truth. It was baseless. It's no different. I'm struggling to find the words, because it's when something is so patently absurd. If I came on camera each night and said, "Good evening, I'm Justine Howe. I am a woman. I do have a womb and a uterus, and I menstruate each month, and I'm going to have," just started to lie about my own biology, about my own genetic, makeup, and just started, I said, "Look, I've got God-given boobs and a vagina," and just started to come out with preposterous shit in the defense of gender being a social construct. And I don't want to get into the gender versus sex argument, because that's a rabbit hole that will go on and on and on. But the more you lean away from truth and truisms, the more preposterous that you get, the more patently absurd you get, the more you're going to have someone counter it. So what I mean by this is, like, when I was a kid, I would say things, this was quite common when I was about 5 to 10. Yeah, those 5 years, between 5 and 10, my first sort of decade on the planet, you would say shit in the playground like, "My dad's bigger than your dad, my dad'll have your dad." And then, someone like me might say, "Yeah, my dad's, James Bond, and then someone might say, yeah, my dad's Han Solo. And then someone else would say, well, my dad's, I don't know, Superman. Do you know what I mean? Kids make up shit. Kids talk bollocks, as if I don't. I'm just saying, the more absurd you make it, the more you get away from objective, measurable, tangible, palpable truth. Again, maybe a colourblind person might want to argue this, but if I repeatedly came on each night and looked into the lens like this and said, guys, this microphone is blue. It's blue, and that's okay. My eyes are blue, grey, whatever. But with the media, the greater the lie and the greater the repetition of the lie, and hopefully this will be some rough house wheelhouse segue into Truthful Tuesday, because I take great pride in this live stream being TrueHouse, because I, Justin House, refuse to lie. That is my baseline. That is my basic sort of bottom line platform setup, is that I am not going to lie on camera. So that does mean quite frequently embarrassing myself, not compromising myself to the point of being an embarrassment, but yeah, there are going to be things that I discuss where I will be, just on that raggedy edge of like, oh shit, Justin, you're really wearing your heart on your sleeve a bit too much, and opening up to the extent that I am just embarrassing myself. But what I mean by that, it's not really harmful, because I don't have it's not like I'm coming on saying, hey guys, this is where the bodies are buried. I shot up a dozen people a few years ago and they're buried in the, just something really outrageous. Oh, you're a serial killer. Oh goodness me. It's nothing bad. I've just done some daft shit in my life, just as a younger man. I know between 21 and 35, sort of 14, 15 years of being, frankly, exceptionally silly with the opportunities and the freedom and the health and the strength that life had given me. It's a really silly thing to squander, and I did. So to get over myself, to get over that, I guess what I'm trying to convey is that I want, I get a great sense of calm, of peace, and this live stream every night is a struggle for me. I do get scared, I do get nervous, but I'm feeling the healing. Oh my God, that rhymes. Oh my God, that's just vomit inducing. Yeah, that's awful. Feeling the healing. That's just fallen out of my mouth. That's, feeling the catharsis. We're talking about a cathartic cast here. A lot of this has been built around my, you could say it's self-indulgent, but where the internet is chock full, that I do feel the internet is burgeoning with people professing really outlandish things. There's no shortage of people online saying big stuff, really quite ridiculous stuff about what they've done in life. People do exaggerate and embellish and outright lie. So my entire motivation behind live streaming is to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Hopefully don't get too boring. Hopefully, as I've tried my best to embrace, improve, enhance. Funny noises coming from your mouth. I just know that to be known for the truth, to be known to be a truther, apparently there is a category of people that stream who are called truthers. So allegedly, I'm just alluding to that. There you go. That's all I'm saying. I'm alluding to the fact that I won't. I just want to be known. I want to be known for a guy who came on camera night after night after night after night and didn't lie. Didn't lie and distort and embellish and enhance and exaggerate with a veneer of nonsense. Because to get back to a bigger, not bigger people, because they're not, but people with a bigger audience, let's use POTUS, let's use Kamala Harris, let's use Donald Trump, or Boris Johnson. You know, these global household names, aren't they? They've become household names. It's almost like, wouldn't it be wonderful if somebody adult, if an adult was to take the entire, God, imagine this is a wet dream, man. Can you imagine if an adult stepped into the room, literally a giant, someone at least my height, you know, so they'd have to be 6'6", and I don't know, I just mean a really big, powerful human being, right? In terms of a visual thing, you know, like a real Tony Robbins type dude. And could you imagine? This is going to sound daft, but bear with me. Got nothing to lose. Imagine if somebody came on your screens and just turned around to both political sides, you know, to Democrats and Republicans and to Conservatives and Labour, and said, right, we're stopping all this, and they'd be like, you know, immediately protesting. Oh, you can't stop it, it's tradition. No. Just shut up, all of you, shut up. Like literally the entire political establishment on both sides of the aisle, red and blue, whatever, right? Just stop, put your pens down, you know, just, it's over. Literally pulled the plug on politics. Now, obviously then there'd be, because let's face it, it's business, there'd be a loss of money. And do you know what would happen? I think over a series of, I don't know, the first quarter, you know, the first 3 months, I think there'd be an enhancement. And I'm talking, when I say an enhancement, I mean a global enhancement. Look, anyone listening back to this podcast, this live stream, and I may well do that just for shits and giggles, because I can't stand watching the podcast, the live stream. Sorry, it's just in my head, because I had to fill out categories when I was starting the new Instagram channel. The category of being a streamer wasn't really there. And anyway, I just, what am I saying? I'm struggling with this, because it's the equation to what I'm endeavouring to say, and I'm face planting with this concept, guys. You know, I'm over half an hour in, and it's like I'm not really said anything that you can really, you know, hang your hat on. You know, I'm conscious, I'm cognizant. If I can just calm myself down a minute, hang on. I'm just aware. I'm aware, you know, as he sits there with his eyes shut. I'm upset. 34 minutes in. You know, even a guy like me, who is here each night talking to a couple of smartphones, all right, just talking to a couple of smartphone cameras, saying things like, I, Justin House, will not lie. I won't be known for lying, and I won't tolerate lying. I feel a sense of duty. I feel, I fucking mean this. I actually mean this. So here we go, look, 35 minutes in, I'm finally getting to the bloody crux of it. like that, innit? Nodding off. Look, it's always tricky when you're on your own and I'm not interacting directly with anyone and you're 35 minutes in and tell you what's upsetting is that irrespective of the fact that I'm now 49, and I bang on about this a lot on this live stream, I talk about my age because, you know, I've clearly got this midlife crisis concept coming on that, you know, I turn half a century in January of next year. It'll be my 50th. And as I approach my 50th year on this planet, I'm still at the stage I'm at, looking to my elders, looking to the wise ones, looking to the people in charge. You know, just wanting some semblance of, and don't get me wrong, these aren't throwaway expressions. I still want the adults in the room, and when I say the adults in the room, I'm trying to shrink the room. This is a simple metaphor, isn't it? So the room is the planet, the room is society, or certainly the West. You know, I'm nodding off through fatigue here. Look at me, like that on camera as I fall asleep. Okay. So, all right, let me shrink it down. I must get this. I must do a better job. I must try harder. So when you hear expressions like, you know, can the adults in the room please stand up? Please stand up. What does that mean? It means that the gen pop, the general population, people like myself, just citizens of the earth, just civilians, we want somebody to be in charge in terms of what they represent, but not tyrannical, not Machiavellian, malevolent, benevolent, yes. A benevolent dictator, that'll do. But when you're just, am I crashing my own live stream here? Okay, look. When you're wanting, as just a regular citizen of the earth, you're in need of a decentralized government that has some core tenets and values and an agreed upon set of those tenets, values, belief system. In other words, as much as I joke about it for the sake of absurdity, because I'm trying to, as a live streamer, I'm trying to demonstrably say to people, hey, look at these people being the wokesters, you know, it's become just a complete, it's an industry, isn't it? It's a brand. It's yeah. So when this is why I joke about someone like Trump coming on and saying the sky isn't blue, grass isn't green, water isn't wet, this mic is blue, not red, and so on. You know, I wish someone would come on and argue unarguable points, immovable points, targets, objectives. Just could you imagine that? Something so monolithic. So let's just say if Well, what I'm trying to say, I'm trying and I'm struggling and I'm falling asleep and I'm fucking up this live stream and I know it. And this makes for a really, really boring live stream. If anyone comes back to listen or watches this, they'll be like, holy shit, Justin spoke bollocks for 30 minutes and then crashed the plane by nodding off on camera for, for the next 5, 7, 8 minutes, whatever. And I'm trying to say, look at the magnitude of the problem we're facing. When you've got so many people who are saying, look over here, this isn't real. For goodness sake, you've got an entire American administration led by a man, apparently, espousing a set of beliefs that he never has done prior to this point in his life. Anyone above the age of 40 will know, and I mean this, I'm not being ageist, I'm just being sort of hopefully historically and chronologically correct. We know, I say we, I know Joe Biden and his crew are the ones saying things like, and again, I make it childlike. I know I'm struggling, I know I'm repeating and rinse and repeat, and this is a snooze fest. This has got to be the most unexciting live stream I've done. With great sort of protracted gaps, of me nodding off, and it must be exceedingly boring for anyone who dares to watch this, and I sort of know that they won't, so that's fine. But for my own sake, for my own sanity, Russell Brand said this beautifully. You don't have to know, you don't have to have a degree in philosophy, I don't know, socioeconomics and math and advanced multiplication and politics and religion and history to understand what I'm saying. You've got people now literally arguing against objective truth. In terms of our combined reality. Do I keep going with this live stream? It's a tough one, guys, because I wanted to speak about. Look, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to stick it out to the hour mark, and I'm going to fuck off. All right. It's always tough to inject this live stream with more horsepower when there's no one there to bounce off. So I'm essentially shouting out to the ether. Everything for a reason. I'm pretty philosophical about this. The last few nights, last night was the best viewing figures I've ever had. And certainly in terms of its formula, it's definitely having these live conversations with people that watch, like Lee, like Dougie. The last 2 nights is really meant a lot to me, and of course tonight it's like, well, I'm dead in the water. That's fine. And I know I'm nodding off. I am tired. I've been doing a wretched thing recently of, case in point, I'll finish this live stream, 10:30, whatever, and then just sit in my kitchen reading and listening and watching stuff, certainly till 4:35 a.m., until daylight, and my alarm goes at sort of 5:30 anyway. So I have my meds. It's now, you've essentially stayed awake all night, Justin. That's what I did last night and the night before last night. So it's reverse sleeping patterns, and I try and sleep until noon, and realise that it's not really working, because invariably I don't. It's making me tired. I've got, I'm not designed to do reverse sleeping patterns. Look, I'm going to delete this one because it's dog shit. I'm going to delete this. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm going to see the next 15 minutes through. On my dynamic mic. Come on, Justin. Pull yourself together. Keep moving, son. Keep moving. Keep talking. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Sorry, I've just got this little chap here, my little dude here. Do love him. He's right here. In fact, let me give him something to stand on. It's half decent. What I'm essentially saying, boys and girls, is that, and I'm very curious to see what you think about this, that we take it. I'll tell you what, I'm not alone, by the way. People with far bigger voices and far bigger audiences than me are saying the same thing, literally word for word. I'm going to use Russell Brand here. I'm a big Russell Brand fan. I do like Russell. I like him as a person. Obviously I don't know him personally, but you can see what Russell Brand is, unless he's an exceptionally good actor who's kept up for the last 2 decades. I think I've got a pretty good idea what Russell is, he's very sort of heart on sleeve. And if you look at his Under the Skin podcast and just his daily streams like this, albeit at a higher production value, when you watch Russell Brand, he's asking the same questions, he's positing the same things. He has a very good way with words. He's very lucid, very eloquent. I'd say he certainly trumps me with his vernacular. I've used that word a couple of times. I'm going to double check that I'm using it in the right context. Vernacular. Adjective of language native to place as opposed to literally expressed or written in the native language of the. Yeah. Now I did know that. So to speak in the like the local talk, their vernacular. Ordinary, everyday, plain language relating to. Yeah, that's fine. So even that repertoire, just the language you're speaking in, Russell is saying the same things. I've noticed he's been talking about the entire culture, the movement of young people being woke, because I think the problem arises when you've got someone of the elder generation like a Joe Biden who's pushing 80. He's certainly the oldest American president ever in office, as far as I am aware. Let me just double check that. Hey Google, is Joe Biden the oldest American serving president? Hey Google, is Joe Biden the oldest serving American president?
According to Wikipedia, the oldest person to assume the presidency was Joe Biden, who took the presidential oath of office 2 months after turning 78.
Wow. See, that's shocking. That is shocking. I'm going to use that in my Nest Mini. Sorry, that's my mid hub. I've got a mini, a mid, and a max. Believe it or not. I'm going to go for a few more minutes, and I'm going to bugger off and do some desk work here. Everything for a reason, guys. Everything for a reason. I'm going to try this again tomorrow night because I want someone to talk to me about this. I want one of you guys to, I'm serious, I want one of you guys to come on camera and just say, you know, Justin, I don't agree with you. Because that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Seriously, I'm asking a very, 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 very fucking basic question. Do you believe that the illogical apparent logic of woke culture, woke politics? So, you know, it's not working, guys, because look, I'm going to use the visually the things that I can see in front of me. So I can see on this very camera, I'm wearing a grey cap. This is a red mic. I'm wearing a grey top. This is a wood, you know, sort of backdrop. Would you agree politely if somebody came on and said, right, this is why I'm not doing it to be a dick. I'm not doing it to be pedantic. I'm doing it to, well, it is point proving, but I'm doing it to try and unravel the nonsense. So if I said to you, hey, my feelings are, that's a white background, this is a red cap, that's a blue mic, this is a yellow top, you know, would you argue and say, Justin, you're incorrect, you are objectively wrong? Or would you go, well, that's Justin's subjective opinion? You know, to protect Justin's feelings, his subjective truth, Justin's truth is it's a blue mic, you know, a red hat and a white background. You know, do you know what I mean? That's my point. Hey Lee, how are you, buddy? Right, Lee. Hopefully you can help me survive this because I've been literally just here 52 minutes. I'm going to wave to Lee. Why can't my finger touch that? Oh well. Anyway, I'm trying to wave to Lee. But look, the issue is right, and like I say, I don't feel like I'm some sort of ridiculous Lone Ranger because you know you've only got to turn on your bloody devices, guys. You've only got to. What I mean to say is you've only got to look at your telly. Or okay, let's just say you get any screen. 20 seconds remaining. I've got to get this point across, right? I've got 20 seconds remaining because Instagram, just like it was in the old days when I started a new Instagram account, because I got banned, yes. Banned and blocked, no less. Double B. I didn't know there's a difference. Apparently there is, according to terms and conditions or terms of service, a block and a ban. Block was first, ban was second, 30 days. Anyway, let me... Okay, hopefully this will be all right. Why is that not? So I'm just doing a little bit of housekeeping here at the same time. I mean, excuse me. Let's get Lee on. Let's get Lee. I've just tried to get you on camera, Lee. So hopefully this will bring Captain Sprucen on camera. There he is. There he is. There he is. Hey, buddy. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Nice
productive day.
Tell me about your day.
Got down Metroflex this morning.
Oh, really?
Done my first leg session since surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've always been nervous with legs when I ain't done them for a while, and obviously being 20 stone lighter,
yeah,
it's a bit of a weird one.
That's
it was
crazy.
interesting.
That's crazy. Oh, there's
Come home,
Doug.
some garden furniture,
Hey,
and
Dougie.
yeah, had me dinner with me family. So yeah, it's been nice.
Oh, mate, and have you had good weather there as well today?
It's been beautiful, beautiful day.
Nice, nice. What time was the leg workout this morning then?
I think I got down the gym about 10 o'clock.
Good, good. So was Dougie there?
He was.
Oh,
He was there.
because he's here
Cleaning
now.
windows. Yeah, yeah. Evening, Dougie.
Hello, my love. Hello, my love. Let's get you both on. Let's you and I have a chat, Lee, and then we'll do Doug and back and forth as much as you both like. I love it. I love it. I mean, that's really
I'm
interesting.
not 100% sure, Justin, but I think you can do it so it's a freeway.
Can I?
I believe so.
Can we? Actually, that sounds a bit dodge. Can we try that? Can we? Let's do a three-way. Doug, Lee, and Justin having a three-way. Doug, if you send in a the request thing, Doug, obviously I'll accept it. Let's try it. Let's try it. That'd be wonderful. It's interestingly what you said, because you, as you say, you've moved just mathematically. The as you say. You say it almost casually now, but yeah, of 20 stone, but that's what's been and gone, hasn't it, in terms of body weight moved?
Yeah, I think I say it casually because I don't see it as the end of my journey. I
No.
almost see it as the start.
Amazing, amazing.
So, since I've between the surgery and lockdown, obviously there's been a big transformation, and I wasn't able to approach the transformation the way I wanted to,
Right.
which was obviously in the gym. So after the op, I wasn't allowed in the gym for 3 months.
Okay.
Then after I had my 3-month checkup,
Yeah.
they then made it another 3 months on top of that because I kept having quite bad dizzy spells and they weren't too sure what was causing it.
Definitely, yeah, okay. I'm just saying definitely tomorrow to Doug. Definitely, Doug, indeed. Let's do it tomorrow. Yeah, so carry on, Lee. So why did they give you the extra 3 months? Were they not happy with the recuperation from the actual surgical intervention?
When I was younger, I used to have these blackout spells. I used to stand up and then just crash out. Like just totally dizzy and then just pass out.
Okay.
Was never ever diagnosed with anything, but I had ECGs, you name it, they
Right.
tested.
Okay,
they
go
could
on.
never find out what it was, and they put it down to hormones in the end.
Really?
It stopped as I started putting weight on.
Okay.
And then as soon as I lost the weight, it started up again.
Wow. Okay.
So they was a bit wary about giving me the all clear to go back to the gym.
Where was it done again? Where did you go? Was it King's or the operation? It was a King's, yeah. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I still have the odd dizzy spell, but I'm finding the more active I am, the less frequent they are.
Interesting.
So me being in the gym is more
helping.
beneficial to me than not. So
Absolutely. Yeah. So really, it's interesting, because everyone has to have a reason. When you ask most people, why did you embark on the journey of losing, not even losing weight, let's just call it change, whatever you're chasing, whether it's weight loss or weight gain or more muscle or body fat, whatever, all the above. In your case, by the sounds of it, with these dizzy spells as well, which I'm not a doctor, but when I hear dizzy spells, I think, okay, blood pressure. That's classic low blood pressure. And that sort of feeling of being faint and like you say, blacking out and stuff. And that was happening when you were at a larger weight, wasn't it?
No, it was actually happening when I was a teenager, so I was quite a skinny lad.
Okay, that's interesting.
Wow. It was beanpole, rake, you name it.
Really?
I was it. But everyone was shocked that I put weight on. I was one of them people that used to be able to eat everything.
When did you start gaining weight, Lee? What age?
It was really sudden. Probably about 19, I started getting a bit more chunkier, but everyone would then be like, you look really healthy, because
Right.
I really was. I have to dig out some pictures and send them over.
You must,
But,
because, you
about
were...
19, I started putting weight on, but I was looking healthy. But by the time I was 21, I started putting it on in the chops and
Right.
started becoming sluggish. And then by the
Okay.
time I was a dad, I was massive.
Bloody hell. So when you were sort of 30, so I'm just taking a bit of paper off this desk. So when you were, let's just say Lee, age 12, 13, you were a skinny kid, right?
Yes, most definitely.
Interesting. So did you go up, I'm just genuinely curious because I know that hormonally, like you say, weird things can happen to blokes. You can be that 13, 14, 15-year-old at school and, skinny and spotty, and I certainly was. And then something happens at 18, 19 and you hormonally explode, and then you run into an old school friend or school friends, and you're 19, you're working at a job, and they're like, what the fuck happened to you? It's like, and that can be a good or a bad thing, depending on which way you've gone. So was it literally like, did it all come on quite quickly when you hit a certain age?
So it was more lifestyle, I think. I started drinking around 15, 16.
Okay.
The older I got, the more money I had, and the drinking got worse.
Okay.
A lot of my weight gain, though, was due to mental health. I have to be honest.
Go on.
We've spoken briefly via chat, and I know sometimes when I'm texting, it doesn't always portray the message too much. I remember early Dogby was talking about mental health, and I started to share, and I think you took it as I was criticising myself.
Right.
But the truth of it is I was just telling you how I was back then, and I've had a history of suicidal thoughts, even suicidal attempts.
Okay. Okay.
I've progressed. Well, I say progress is probably more of a regress, but I've transitioned from that to self-abusing myself, physically.
Mm-hmm.
When my daughter was born, I then sort of towed the line with that, and then got into self-harming myself in a more discreet way, which was abusing food.
Got you.
And the plan was I was going to go out big and unhealthy.
Right. Wow, that's very interesting.
Thankfully, my mental health did improve over the years, and I was actually telling Doug this story, I think it was last week. I said, I walked past the mirror one day after feeling quite good in myself, mentally, and I sort of took a look again, and I went, who the fuck is that? This is just some big man looking at me, and that weren't me. What happened?
Yeah. Wow. That's goodness. I didn't know that. That's let me just think this one through. Because I don't want to come back at that with an obvious, contrived, cringy question. But when I hear a fellow human and a friend say that, my first thought is, what came first? It's a chicken and egg question, and I don't want to appear unsympathetic, because I'm incredibly sympathetic. I'm upset to hear that, and genuinely curious at the same time. And I hate expressions like comfort eating. It's so, yeah. But what did you remember as coming first? Were you feeling upset with yourself or life or the direction it was going, and then found food? Or were you eating anyway, and that led to a bit of a downwards? You know what I mean? Because as you've identified it correctly, it is a form of abuse. We've all used bad things or done bad things, and whether it's my past drug taking and painkillers or food, it's all harmful. It's all to our detriment, isn't it? So what do you remember as coming first? Was it thoughts of being unhappy, or were you eating and then you looked at yourself and thought, shit, now I'm really unhappy? So what do you remember as coming first, the thoughts or the food?
Probably the thoughts. It was definitely the thoughts. I mean,
Right.
I can't even turn around and say when I was using food to abuse myself, it was even comfort eating back then.
Right.
Comfort eating come on after.
Okay.
I wouldn't eat and enjoy food. I would almost eat food to the point where I would be sick, but really buy it to keep it down.
Wow.
And then eat some more within minutes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I get that. I understand that.
what I would do is I would hide it as well, like from, like say, my partner.
Right.
Forever doing like shopping runs.
Really.
But I mean, like, our first flat when my daughter was born, we lived in a one-bed flat, and the downstairs was a Tesco Express.
Oh.
So it'd be like, babe, we need something, cool, I'll go and get it. And it'd be like 6, 7 flights of stairs to go into the shop.
Right.
But I would pick up 3 pasties,
Gotcha.
a couple of chocolate bars,
Gotcha.
and got in again.
Gotcha. Yep. Almost on the sly a little bit. I mean, what's Doug said here? The love of your parents can never be understated. It's very sad, but now made you the father you are today and the strong man you have had to become. Do you agree with what Doug said there? I think that's very powerful, what Doug said. Because Doug knows you. Doug knows your journey.
I mean, my journey has definitely made me the father.
The father you are, and your kids. Go on.
They've been my reason to get better.
Right.
As
This
well.
this
mean,
is yeah. This is what.
Is no longer mine. My life is theirs.
Yeah. This is what he's.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
My daughter at a young age had an issue with food where she wouldn't eat. Like, I'm not too sure why she wouldn't.
Right.
But she'd done this thing where she was about 3, 4 years old, and she would just store it in her cheeks like a little like.
Really. Really.
She just wouldn't eat it. Wouldn't swallow it. And
that's interesting.
She would come home from school with a fully made packed lunch and not touched it and things like that.
Really? Didn't even think.
Yeah.
Well, it proves one thing: she's not sneaky, because a sneaky kid would bin it, wouldn't they? Think about it.
Well,
if you want to keep
the
it,
thing, I mean,
you know,
she does have sneaky tendencies, but that she's not sneaky with.
No. So she brought home the evidence at least.
Like, obviously, she didn't have the dad I am today.
Right.
Which I feel guilty for, because she'd lost out on a part of her childhood that she should have had with her dad.
Right.
You know, like the going out, running around, having life experiences. She did all them things, but she did it with grandparents, great-grandparents, and her mum.
Okay.
Where I should have been there.
Okay.
But then I remembered saying to her, look, I'm going to really try.
Yeah.
I said, I'll do you a deal. I said, from now on, I'm going to start cooking every single meal fresh, no more processed stuff. And I went, I'm going to try and lose weight. And I said, but whatever I cook, we both have to eat.
Oh, wow.
And ever since then, she's been good as gold.
And what was her age when you hit her with that offer, Lee?
She was 4 years old.
She was 4? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God, how old is she now?
She's 12.
She's 12.
She's 13 in November. Yeah, she's cracking little girl. Well, I can't even call her a little girl. She's a young woman now.
Bless.
She's growing up her rate of knots. It's scaring me.
So you were about, what, 30-ish when you said that to her? What are you now?
Yes.
Yeah, you're 38 now, aren't you? 38, 39? Yeah. Okay, that figures. That's really, you know, Lee, what an interesting story. I mean, do you know, all I've got, look, I mean, you're a father, and funnily enough, of all people, and this is going to sound really detached, you know, Adam Sandler, the comedian. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's got no money worries. You know, he's a multi-millionaire. But just, it's going to sound random, but it is related. He was in conversation the other day on YouTube talking to his lifelong friend, Brad Pitt. You know, as you do, you're like, oh yeah, two struggling entertainers. One's a comedian, one's an actor. You know, one looks like a god, Brad Pitt, and Adam Sandler. You know, again, typical Hollywood sort of Jewish comedian. And he spoke about parenting, and he spoke about specifically something happens to us adults, and you know, from a male's point of view, whether you've had a good set of parents yourself or not, when you become a father, something indescribable happens to you. And you know, the alcoholic stops drinking, the drug user stops using, the eater stops eating, and so on. You know, and it's almost like, as you say, you stop for their sake. You stop for them. And I'm not a dad, so I can only imagine this, but I do understand. And I don't want to throw around words like addiction loosely, but whether it's addiction or obsession or compulsion, and there are three different things there, where there has to be something to stop you, you know. And in your case, like you say, you got to a point as a 30-year-old, you're like, enough, enough. And you make a deal, you strike a deal with your 4-year-old daughter, which is amazing and beautiful. And now look at you. Now look at you. And she must be happy, like you say, she's developing into a young woman. She's 12, going on 20, whatever, as they do. And now she's looking.
I couldn't, she's seen the change in me.
Right, this is
especially
it.
Like where we had like the lockdown as well. You think my operation was in the October. By that March, we was all under lockdown, so people saw me starting to lose the weight quite fast. But obviously, I was far from the finished article.
Right.
But by the time lockdown was lifted and the schools were opening back up again, I was pretty much lost all my weight.
Right. So it was October 2019, the surgery, wasn't it? And then lockdown March 2020. Got you. So you're only, November, December. So really, yes, that's only 5 months after the operation, isn't it? You're into lockdown. That's interesting. And you've used lockdown to, excuse the pun, tighten your belt even more, haven't you? You look right now, you look fantastic. You've got the colour, you've got sun, your face is lean, I can see your cheekbones, etc., etc. I mean, facially, no one would recognise you, would they now? I mean, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. And I mean that as a sincere compliment.
People that recognise me are the people that never saw me when I was big.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. They missed the gap in between, that Lee. Yeah, they missed that. Yeah, of course. How interesting.
That's a bit weird. Because someone thought they saw me earlier on, funnily enough. They was messaging me saying, I'm not sure if I saw you down in Downham earlier on. But
which version?
Yeah. So I said, oh yeah, you probably was me. I said I was heading up to the bus stop to go to the gym. He said, I knew I would have stopped and said hello. But I mean, it's someone I went to school with. But he's only seen me being big via pictures.
Right. Yeah.
He's not seen me big in person. Which
no.
I think it would have threw him, because he actually asked me today, so how much have you lost in total? And I told him, I'm not 20 stone.
Yeah, done a large human.
That's just it's mental.
It is.
He started asking about the surgery, because he said he had a friend that's paid to have a gastric band, which the NHS are actually trying to phase out at the moment.
Are they?
Yeah, the success rate isn't that high. I think it's something like 50 to 60% success rate.
Right.
They're quite dangerous as well. If the band slips, it can actually kill you.
Can it?
Yeah.
How does that work? What would happen then if the band slipped? Does it mean you'd get gut bacteria and feces running loose?
So the idea with the band is it goes over the stomach.
Right.
So then, so the stomach can't expand to whatever size.
Yeah.
Well, to its original size. So what they do is, if it slips, it can then, I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it clips onto the intestine and then puts pressure on that, which then obviously you've got serious problems.
Yeah, my God, yeah. Jesus. No, that's interesting. I mean, I've, from memory, probably seen 1 or 2 documentaries many years ago about gastric bands and their effectiveness versus, like you say, ultimately the patient, their discipline, their ability to then perform as a patient in the right direction post surgery. That and the surgeon has always had a very serious conversation with the patient that, look, we've done this, now you've got to act accordingly. You can't consume the volume that you used to do,
Yeah. The beautiful thing as well, the way I feel towards food now is completely different.
Is it?
Absolutely different. I remember doing the pre-surgery bit, so you meet the surgeon in the morning and he's like, hi, I'm going to be one that's ripping out your stomach. You're like, brilliant.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay. And he said to me, he goes, are you sure you want the surgery? I've looked at your notes and you've shifted a bit of weight before surgery. You're doing really well. And I went, this ain't nothing I've never done before. So I've always lost weight. But my problem was always putting it back on again.
Right.
And he said to me, all right, cool, we'll be going in at about 9:30. When you come round, the relationship you have with food and everything you think you know about food is going to be gone.
Really?
I said to him, I said, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Because it's a big statement, it's very open-ended. He went, I can't tell you. He goes, I've never had the operation, but this is what patients have said to me. So I'm now telling you.
Wow.
I went, all right. So I remember coming round and that thought of, I want to put something in my mouth, that I want to chew, I want to indulge, gone.
Really?
And even today, I don't have that
urge.
sort of thing in him. So
that's so interesting, Lee, because as you said that, as you were alluding to, I'm sitting here thinking, hang on, what do I? Because as you said, with respect to the surgeon, it's quite an ambiguous, open-ended statement. It's a little bit nebulous. Like, well, because if he'd said to you, Lee, I'm going to put a block into your brain that's going to stop your brain wanting, that would make sense but it begs the question, and now I've got to go back into my history books and the qualifications that I took many, many years ago about the sympathetic and parasympathetic central nervous system, about what relationship, or whether it be a hormone or whether it be something organically that is attached from our satiety gland, the gland in our brain that dictates how satisfied we are. And I'm sure we must have one, I think we do, in our stomach. And without researching on Google, I don't want to embarrass myself, but I would hazard a guess that in the process of shrinking or cutting or shortening or clamping or whatever they do to the stomach, that must in turn have an effect on something organic in terms of actual bits of flesh, in around the stomach, related to the brain, that makes you go, fuck that, I'm not going to have those 3 pints of Haagen-Dazs and 2 kilos of pasta and cheese. You know what I mean? So it must have that knock-on effect.
That sounded like a normal weekend for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Get the Haagen-Dazs in. Yeah.
The surgery I had was the gastric sleeve.
Right.
Now, I know with the gastric sleeve, you stop producing this certain enzyme.
Right. Now we're talking.
Which basically stops hunger.
Okay. Which is right. That's what I was trying to suggest in a very bad way. Yeah. Okay.
It is chemical related.
Okay.
The other procedure is a gastric bypass. Now, the stomach remains the same.
Right.
But what they do with the gastric bypass is reroute your intestines.
Right. And you've had the sleeve.
I had the sleeve.
Yeah.
Now, the sleeve is meant to be less intrusive.
Right. Yeah.
The operation is more intrusive, but the way of life after is less intrusive.
Got it.
Right. Recovery time compared to the bypass is about the same.
Okay.
But apparently the bypass is more successful.
Interesting.
Now, when I first opted for surgery, I wanted the bypass. So I spoke to my surgery team, and they went, "We want you to have the sleeve."
Right.
And it really upset me because it's like it took a lot for me to go, "I'm going to have surgery." So I researched a bit, even before talking to my GP.
Right.
So I want to know what everyone's talking about.
Yeah. And you wanted the bypass.
And I wanted a bypass. So I was like adamant.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew what it entailed. I knew the way of life I'd have to lead. But at the time, the fatality rate was higher if you was having a sleeve.
Really?
And I was like, I don't want to die on the table.
No. So why are they suggesting the sleeve? Yeah.
So anyway, I get talking to the team, and they're going, "Look, like, you're right in what you're saying, but this was like 5 years ago. Because like things have improved."
Yeah, they do.
And because of your relationship with food, in terms of, because I've done so much in terms of getting myself on point and able to sustain my life for a period of time, they went, "We think that you'd be better suited to a sleeve."
Okay.
So I went away, thought about it, because ultimately it was my choice. I could have had whatever I wanted. Even if I changed my mind last minute, I could have changed my mind. It wouldn't have been a problem.
Right, right.
So I went away, I'd done some more research, spoken to patients that have had both done.
Yes, yes.
I opted to have the sleeve done.
Right.
As mended.
Yeah, as endorsed by them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I did it. I was like, well, I'm arguing with doctors, but what is the point in them going to study and then me do it?
Yeah, yeah.
So I had that done,
Okay.
and not look back.
It's interesting because it begs the question, what did they know? Even though statistically, the sleeve versus the bypass, as you say, percentage figures, there was one. The bypass was less risky than the sleeve, or the other way around? Was it?
So the bypass was less risky.
Yes.
The way of life, though, is very, very, I wouldn't say complicated,
but
it's
more restrictive than the sleeve.
Yeah.
So swings and roundabouts. So the sleeve sounds statistically in percentage, like you say, in its mortality rate, worse than the bypass. But the bypass, as you say, swings and roundabouts, the bypass has more post-surgery restrictions than the sleeve. Yep. Understood. And by the sounds of it, their feelings and your willingness to go with the sleeve, you've never looked back. You are a winning case, aren't you?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
I get asked similar questions a lot of the time, and there's probably the one thing that I wouldn't say embarrassed to share, because I've shared a lot. The amount of times I've took pictures in literally just a pair of boxers at biggest, at my lightest, and I still won't do any close-ups of my skin.
Right.
My skin, I can't compute myself. That is something I have struggled with mentally.
Okay.
But at the same time, if I have to live with this skin, I would sooner do that than go back.
Of course. Yes.
It's such a small price to pay. It really is.
Absolutely, Lee.
Mentally, I'm so much more healthier.
Yes.
Physically, definitely.
Yes.
And I smile a lot more now.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
you are a very trying to think of the right language here. There's so many examples of people post surgery. The other thing is the age or the stage of life that you've had it done at. I think that's a very important thing here, because you're still not 40 yet, and a lot of the people, I say, the few documentaries I've seen have been with 55, 60, 65-year-olds, and they're often, frankly, big fat women, and that's typically what I've seen online. And you're a young man, and as you say, you've got the family, so now you've got this extra pep in your step. You've got a new lease of life. Do you mind if I ask you about the mental aspects? Because I'm really interested in the. Is that all right if we discuss a little bit?
Yeah.
Thanks.
You know what? I'm happy to share anything, especially in this topic, because it's something I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to help others with.
Okay. No, that's really good. That's really brave, man. No, thanks. Because I just think the physical element of this conversation is, as outlined by you, the pros and the cons, band versus sleeve, and your commitment, your keeping up your end of the bargain, and did you okay, let me phrase it this way. When I had my kidney transplant, I was told by my transplant surgeons, yes, Justin, this means no more bloody dialysis, which is not nice. No more 6 hours every other day on the dialysis machine, but you're not going to have, it's not like a light switch. They told me this at King's, at Guy's, and at St. Tommy's. And I was a patient at King's, and I was moved to Guy's for the surgery. And as an outpatient, I've been seen at all three. but predominantly it was Kings and Guys. They said to me, it's not like a light switch. So don't expect psychologically to be, yes, you'll be off dialysis, which is, life enhancing anyway, to go back to a relatively normal life. But don't expect, just because you've had a kidney transplant, to be as you were before dialysis. You're never going to go back to being as healthy and as strong as you were before kidney failure. And psychologically, I found that quite hard to swallow, because it is true. Yes, I've got a working kidney, but no, it's nowhere near as good as I was before I ever got sick. And it's really the weight of expectations. My question is, how have you managed the weight of expectations after surgeon says, hey, Mr. Spruson, these are the things you might experience. As was told to me, it's not a light switch. Yes, you'll be better off, but don't think you're going to be like, Ray, I'm fucking 15 again. Don't think that either. How have you felt mentally, psychologically after it all?
I think mentally wise, I was always prepared to do different anyway.
Right.
The way I've always looked at it was the surgery is for a second chance to redevelop a relationship with food.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Where that's the primary, yeah?
Yep.
Secondary to it is the first year of surgery is almost a free hit of weight loss.
Really?
But once you've done your year, and this is actually quite common with a lot of people, is so much easy to start putting the weight back on again.
Right. So year 2 is perilous.
Yeah. As soon as your 12 months is done, you can go on the scales, and that weight is going to stop.
Wow.
Like almost to the day that happened to me.
Really?
That is the point when you roll your sleeves up and then you start seeing what you're made of.
Interesting. So that's where your mettle is tested once you've done the first free gift of a year, if you like.
Yep.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, this isn't a miracle surgery by any stretch. And I always used to go, I don't want surgery because it's a cheat. It's a coward's way out.
No.
And it turns out I couldn't have been more wrong.
Right. Right. That's interesting.
Surgery, the journey itself is absolutely terrifying.
Right.
It really is. I mean, I've not experienced pain like it. I've not experienced fear. The thought of, so early lockdown, I think I said this to you already as well. We hit lockdown, and at the time I was eating dry goods. I couldn't handle protein. All my protein was liquid.
Right, okay.
But we sort of get used to eating and chewing and my stomach having solid food in it. I was eating like the rich biscuits.
Right.
And then lockdown hit and all dry goods been bought out. Everyone went mental. Between dry good bog rolls, you couldn't find it.
That's
so
it's a healthy...
starving.
Yeah, my God. It just shows the madness. Healthy people are running out buying things that, frankly, not so healthy people might need.
But it was crazy. So I remember eating a chicken wing because it's like I need to eat something. I've not eaten that for like a day. I ate one chicken wing and I was sick for 8 hours.
Were you really?
Yeah, and that's because my body wasn't ready for it.
Wow. So was it like a rejection, Lee, or is it your body just saying, I don't want that?
It's almost like being a baby again, but obviously in an adult body.
Yeah, man.
So you go through the weaning process. You have to do the steps.
That's crazy.
So the first 4 weeks you're on clear liquid, so it'll be like broth, and that's pretty much it. That's your meals.
Right.
Yeah?
Right.
You're allowed tea. You're allowed squash as long as it's sugar-free.
Right, okay.
You're allowed water.
Okay.
Yeah? But other than that, you're getting your nutrients through broth. That is it.
Really?
For 4 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
Then you move on to like the soft food stage. So it'll be like quarter of a Weetabix with milk and a lot of milk. So it is literally, you can go through like a sieve.
Right, yeah. Gotcha.
And even that quarter of a Weetabix, you think that sounds ridiculous. Who eats a quarter of a Weetabix? I couldn't finish it. It was too much.
Seriously? Oh my God! I mean, that would normally be like a mouthful, isn't it? Just gone, just disappeared.
Right.
Just hoover that up. So that was almost too much.
Yeah, it was too much for me. It was just like, oh my God, I'm full.
I was gonna say, did you feel physically full?
Christmas roast dinner.
Right.
Everybody indulges over Christmas roast dinner.
Yeah.
Everyone awake in front of the telly, falling asleep when they've eaten.
Yeah, that's the classic.
I felt like that after my quarter of a Weetabix.
Are you? Oh my God! Oh my God! How long did it take you to do the quarter Weetabix drenched in milk? Was it like straight away you knew you were in trouble? You knew you were getting full up straight away, was it? Or...
Yeah, almost. So you would literally just like tip of a teaspoon.
Really?
Yeah. Because you're told that you're meant to sit. You see how you're told people should eat. You've got to sit there, chew your food.
Yeah.
X amount of times, etc. Rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
You're told that, but the way you do it, and I still don't follow this rule. This is one rule I did break.
Right.
I was told I had to eat where use little mouthfuls, have a break for a minute, go back, rinse and repeat. But by the time you do that, and because of the size of meal you was having, the food was almost cold instantly. And again, my body struggles to process cold food. So I have to eat it hot. There was either sacrificing temperature over speed. In the end, it was just like, oh, gone.
That's the equation, isn't it? It's almost like math. Temperature over speed, over time and power and velocity.
Really weird though, because everybody's symptom seems to be different. So what doesn't sit well with me might sit well with patient B.
Got it.
You know?
Got you. Yeah.
There's a guy in one of the groups that I'm in. There's a group especially for King's patients.
Okay.
That's surgery.
Yeah. I can relate to
he
that.
was just moved on to the soft food stage. And he reckons he's eating 4 eggs. I can't eat 4 eggs now, and I'm like 2 years out in October.
Wow. I mean, and what format are we talking? Scrambled or boiled or poached or?
Hard boiled.
That is hard. I mean, that's hard. Full stop.
But for me, he's not dealt with the mental side of eating.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And the surgery's not going to work for him because he's not ready here.
Clearly not. I mean, now is that force feeding? Is he overdoing it? Is he literally? Because that sounds
overdoing it.
Completely indication to what you're describing is how they've advised you to do it.
I can imagine he's really suffering with pain.
Yeah, because you've mentioned pain. Go on.
He's going to be puking a hell of a lot.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, he must be really forcing it down him.
Yeah.
He put a picture up of 4 eggs saying, should I be able to eat this because I've been eating it?
No. I mean, even for a normal person, dude, I mean, I'm not being funny. When I was a bodybuilder and would eat 8, 12 eggs per sitting, they would be scrambled or poached or just basically blended or in the microwave, but basically fluffy. Do you know what I mean? If you said even when I was a 25-year-old with no problem and I was big and young and strong, to have 4 or 6 or 8 hard-boiled eggs, that's like, I mean, that's hard, man. That's. He sounds like he's forcing it.
Yeah, he must be, because bear in mind, his stomach's going to be 85% smaller.
God, that's a huge amount of reduction, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's how much. That's the minimum they take away.
Really?
Yeah.
Christ.
So I've got 5 incisions.
Right.
Where they've done the operation. Now, the worst looking one, to be fair, you can't even see my incisions anymore. Okay. They're just like faded now, where I've lost so much weight, they're tiny. But the worst incision did look really nasty.
Really?
And that's the one they pulled the stomach out of.
Do they really?
Yeah, sincerely. No bullshit, right? So they literally cut it so your stomach goes into like a tube size.
Fuck me.
The idea of the sleeve, so it looks like a sleeve of a jumper.
Wow.
So instead of having a round stomach, mine isn't. It's like a tube size. And this is where my diet now changes. and
Wow.
the excess stomach they pull out of the little hole that they make inside of your abdomen.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
It's barbaric as fuck. It really is barbaric.
It
But
is,
it works.
it is barbaric and also very clever. I mean, it's,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I mean...
Whoever went, right, I think I know how to...
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like...
Who was the surgeon that went, I know what we're going to do?
The first one on that table, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's terrifying.
Well, this is the thing, Lee. That there's it's interesting you should mention that. And in a minute, I want to ask you about your personal pain. There's a section in the ground floor at Guy's Hospital, and it shows the earliest transplant. Dude, they were using like saw, hammer, wood, you know, things like you'd build a fucking BMX ramp with, you know. I'd use that for a skateboard half pipe, you know. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't want wood in my body. And you know, of course, nowadays it's all steel and magnesium and aluminium and plastic and synthetic and super cool, like the stuff I've got in my spine. But you know, just as you say, these early operations, who did it? How did they get to that thought process of, like you say, with your stomach? Oh, I know, we're going to put a sleeve round it and reduce it by 85% and just pull it through a tiny little keyhole. You know, it beggars belief. As you say, it's barbaric, and it's also primitive surgery. You know, leading, you know, was it 1940s in the war? Was it... One thing I do know is that a lot of modern advances in surgery do happen in wartime because of the horrific injuries. You know, people would have had limbs off, or perhaps a kidney blown out, or a stomach, you know, exploded. And that's where a lot of modern advances in medicine and surgery did happen in the 40s and the 50s after the war, which does make sense. But to your point about pain, where and when were you feeling pain from eating? Was it immediately after surgery? Was it, you know, from here to here? Were you like, shit, my guts are hurting, my throat is hurting? How was it for you?
So, I remember coming round, like, properly consciously was about 8 p.m. in the evening.
Okay.
So I'd been out for 11 hours.
Right, okay, wow. So like a 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock surgery in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember coming round and there'd been like a really crazy burning sensation.
Wow.
Round, like, just off to the right hand side of like central stomach.
Okay.
And it just felt like a hot poker had just been left inside me.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, nasty.
And I remember sitting there thinking, bloody hell, like, how am I going to manage this?
Wow.
And then I was like, well, at least I know they've done something. They didn't just
right.
like put me up. Obviously, you come round and you've got plasters everywhere where like making sure like the incisions don't get infected.
Yeah.
And you're going, okay, so I'm definitely done something because I feel rough as hell.
Yeah, it's a very strange feeling coming out of surgery. Yeah.
And then I was like, right, so it's hurting, but I'm not going to let it slow me down.
No.
And I remember attempting to stand up, and it's like your body's then straightening out, and you're going, oh my God, like, what the hell? Because obviously the stomach's going to be...
I was going to say, right? Did you want to remain like that, really? You didn't want to get erect, did you? You wanted to remain...
Yeah, I was literally walking around as if, like, I'm trying to do my shoelaces.
Yeah, like the letter R. Yeah, exactly, yes. Keep bent over.
So,
wow.
So that was a thing. And then, I don't know, obviously, you're in like this gown thing, right, which is ridiculous anyway. I had to wear 2 of them because of my size.
Wow.
So one didn't go round me, so I was too big for that.
Oh, brilliant.
I remember thinking to myself, right, I need to get some form of clothing on because I want to do laps. I want to do laps around the hospital.
Around the ward, you just wanted to walk, yeah.
So, because as far as I'm concerned, I've already started my journey. Like, as soon as, like, I think it was about 3 months before surgery, I was adamant, this is me, I'm now starting. Like, I don't care if I've been under the knife, I'm starting. So, I was thinking, right, I've got to straighten up. Right. So, anyway, it's like, little by little, it was like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? But each time I'm going, ow, I'm getting a bit more closer to being upright.
Brilliant.
Upright, managed to chuck some clothes on,
Right.
and by 2 a.m. I'm doing laps around the world.
Really?
Hmm?
Holy
They go,
shit.
you shouldn't be up yet. I went,
Uh-huh.
why? They
Why?
went, you've just had major surgery. I went, I'm fine.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I was hurting like a motherfucker, but I
course.
felt really good. Like,
yeah.
they went, okay, but
But easy.
please be careful and make sure you rest in between laps, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, whatever you say, but please let me do.
Right.
As long as I made something, I felt good. And each single lap, I was feeling really fatigued, but I felt a lot better. Like, the pain was easing off slightly.
Subsiding, yeah, yeah.
The pain I was in was for the gas that they put in you, because
Right.
they fill you up with carbon.
Do they?
Yeah, yeah. So the idea is, it's like, so you go on a 2-week liquid diet
Right.
before surgery.
Okay.
So the liquid diet is literally just milk.
Interesting. Is that to make sure your intestines and stomach lining are purged and, you know, there's no meat and veg in there, basically? Yeah, okay.
So
Makes
not
sense.
all surgeons require you to have this, yeah, but it depends on the surgeon.
Okay, yeah, figures. It does make sense,
So
anatomically.
my surgeon likes to get as much and as clean as possible.
Yep, clean
Where
pipes, yeah.
So some will go, well, I'm going to do what I can and I'll work around what I've got to work around. He weren't having none of that. He went, you're going on this liquid diet, you're going to be 100%, and if you're not 100%, I'm going to know and I won't operate on you.
Well, that, to be fair, he sounds like a good surgeon because it's putting a bit of healthy pressure on you, isn't it, to basically obey?
I just turned around and said to him, I went, mate, it ain't a problem. I've been practicing this for the last couple of months, so
Good
I'm all
man,
good.
good man.
And
And
when he went, all right, I'm not worried about
Good,
it.
good. Well, this is it, Lee. It gives the surgeon confidence in you because you're the patient. And let's face it, most people don't have that discipline. They don't, you know, and the likes of you and I are the ones that, as patients, they like because we're so keen. You know, I certainly obeyed. I did what I was told. I went above and beyond, as I'm sure you have as well. You go above and beyond what you're required to do because you want your greatest chance of success.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, I mean, I remember turning around when I met the surgeon. That I said to him, I said, mate, I'm going to be your best patient.
Yeah.
I went, you ain't had nobody like me.
Yeah.
And he went, they all say that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Saying
I
and doing.
remember having my checkup at the beginning of this year. And you don't normally see the surgeon. Once you've had your operation, you don't see the surgeon.
True.
You see the surgery do you.
Right.
And I remember walking in to speak to like the nurse of his surgery team, and she went, bloody hell, like, I can't believe you're the same guy.
Really?
And she went, get on the scales. And I've got on the scales, and obviously it's reported back 20 stone. And he's gone,
What have you done?
You've only meant to lose 50% of this at the moment.
Wow.
She went, what the hell have you done?
Yeah.
I went, everything.
Yeah,
When you name it,
I've done it. Yeah. Good for you, man.
And
Good for
she went,
you.
I've got to get your surgeon. Anyway, like, so she's gone into the next room, and like the walls are paper thin, yeah, and you can hear her going, you need to come and see this guy. Like,
oh, really?
He's unbelievable. And he's going, I haven't got time for this. I ain't got time for this. I'm busy. Well, you can hear him protesting. Anyway, he gives in and he comes in. And then he's like, oh my God, like,
Wow.
this is amazing. I went,
Wow.
I promise you, I'm your best patient.
Yep.
And he went, well, you weren't wrong, was you?
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say you had every opportunity and position, every right, should I say, to now say, yeah, you got time for me now? You know what I mean? Because obviously you heard him say, you know, that he didn't have time. That's really interesting, Lee. Good. It must be very empowering for you to do that, isn't it? It's very, you know, you've proven a point and you've proven yourself as a patient, haven't you?
Without sounding like I'm having a dig at myself, I've not been one to say that I've been successful at many things, but I can honestly say this has been one of the greatest successes of my life.
Absolutely.
If not the greatest success.
Absolutely, Lee.
You know, there's been reasons, like there's been inspiration, there's been targets, and I've gone above and beyond, and I'm hoping I can continue that trend going forward.
Yeah.
Thing is, the more success I have with it, if I'm able to get that message out there, it means it's going to get more support, and there's people out there that really do deserve this surgery as well.
Yes.
It's a bit of a funny situation for me, because I look at where people do get support, and I do think obesity is something that is overlooked by a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot will turn around and go, well, stop putting it in your mouth then.
Right.
But it's not always as easy as that.
No.
You know?
Stop doing this then.
Alcoholics and people that are like taking illegal substances, they all get the olive branch, but
that's so true.
And eating problems, they don't get the same olive branch. They get pointed at and well, almost shunned away from everybody.
Lee, I'm ever so glad you mentioned this, because it's a really powerful point you've made. Society has all this sympathy for, frankly, drug addicts and alcoholics, yet less sympathy for people that have eaten, you know. And again, you're right, they do often shun people that have, consumed food, and as you say, shrug it off and bat it away, and well, just stop doing this then, What, are you going to say the same thing to a person injecting heroin or drinking a bottle of booze? I gave 25 years of my life to opiates, so I know there's not a lot I don't know about opiate addiction, and it's taken me many years to shake off the shame, the huge regret and huge shame in myself, but to forgive myself. But yeah, it's a very funny relationship the public has with people that are overweight, obese. One of the things you were saying when you were talking about the stomach success and the patient performing as well as you have, I kept thinking of, and you mentioned about the body aspect of it, and I immediately thought about our conversation with Tess Holiday, and all this positive imagery, and I just wish they would actually start to talk more in line with the truth that you're giving, which is, hey, you know what? Rather than pat each other on the back and saying, oh, love me and I'm 30 stone, how about love me and I'm going to try and live a bit longer by doing what you've done?
And that's the thing. There's nothing wrong. You can't turn around and say you're ugly because you're overweight. I don't agree with that. But sometimes beauty comes in many forms. And you know what? Health has to come before beauty. And that needs to be a thing. Yeah. All the time, people like her are promoting the message they're promoting. It's not going to help anybody.
No.
It definitely ain't going to help them as individuals. I mean, we could be having this conversation in 5 years' time, and if Tess Holliday's still doing what she's doing, she won't be about to be going on covers of magazines.
You're right, Lee. I'm afraid you're right. I agree. I hugely agree. I was watching a podcast the other day about this very topic, and the conversation really did develop into a medical issue, as you say, because of political correctness and the social message about, love yourself even though you're fat, and, love the real me. But that's all very well and good, but not, as you say, if it's going to cause the premature death of a young person because they are so overweight. They're 25, 35 years of age, and they'll be lucky if they see 50 because heart attack and diabetes took them,
Thing is, I mean, when I started hearing of her, it was probably about a year ago. Right. Because of my background, this is somebody I did look into just to see their story.
I bet you did, yeah.
And, what she's able to do physically, she does push herself, but that could also be detrimental to her health as well.
Of course.
Although physically she may feel that she can, doesn't mean her heart can take it physically.
Nope. That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
But again, because she's so busy trying to prove a point, it goes, well, it doesn't matter I'm overweight because I can still do what everybody else is doing. She's just shooting herself in the foot and can potentially die on the camera and live. Yeah. Can you imagine, right? She a lot of this type of thing, and she'll be showing off and doing her thing. Fair play to you. More power to you, let's be honest. He then croaks it in front of everybody.
Don't.
Everybody starts crying, taken too soon.
Yeah.
She wasn't taken when she was meant to be taken because of the lifestyle she led.
Yes.
Through choice.
Yes. Yes. You know, Lee, it's really weird, the subject of abuse through neglect or ignorance, or even, and I'll openly admit this, some ridiculous notion of sabotage, self sabotage, the inner saboteur. You know, I've lost track of the number of times I've derailed my own train, Lee. You know, I've been full of potential, full of good things, full of a good future, and through my own destructiveness, and that's a mental thing that's been with me. You know, when I've had job opportunities and relationship opportunities, and my future has looked good, and I've actually sunk it. I've actually, like I say, I've derailed myself before through some bizarre trigger I don't know what it is. And I mean, less so these days. Now I'm a 49-year-old. I'm very much the other way. You know, I've got the wisdom now that I want to live, and I want to live as long as I can on this planet. You know, I hope to have 30, 40, 50 more years. You know, I'd love to be 100 and still, you know, I don't know, go for a walk in the mountains, just whatever. But, you know, now I did some really, really, really irresponsible things in my 20s and 30s. I mean, I really did, mate. I really did. That's why I can never, ever, ever look at another human being and go, oi, dickhead, you know, I've got no sympathy. I can't do that, because that makes me a fantastic hypocrite.
The thing is, as well, I think you get to that point of life as well when you do value life.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, males especially, we're so guilty of thinking that we're immortal.
Yes.
From probably early teens,
Yep.
probably until early 30s in a lot of cases.
Agree. 18 to 30, dangerous years. Yeah, those 12 years, 18 to 30. We're well-hard, aren't we? It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even the fact that some people might not even go around thinking they're odds. You just don't think of dying.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, just indestructible, made of rubber. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I can jump out the spindle, and I'm sure I
Right,
will.
right. Exactly that attitude. Exactly that attitude. You do the dares, you do the things your mates said. You jump in front of a car, whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I lived my life from 11-year-old until, well, early 30s with a death wish. So
Really?
What someone without a death wish was doing, I was doing a lot worse.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But I didn't care. I just didn't care. I mean, stories I could tell you. I remember playing chicken with a bus in Bromley, and I remember it clipping the back of my heel, shoe flown off, and I made it over the railing without a scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do you know?
Surfing the train.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Climbing into my bedroom window on the first floor flat with 24 cans of Stella in me because I forgot my key.
Hold that thought, mate. I've got 13 seconds on the timer, and I'm going to restart it, and we'll continue this. I want to hear the rest of that. All right, I've got... I want to hear the rest of this. I've got 3 seconds. Hold on. And I'm going to come straight back on, all right? Okay. All right, let's get this up. Share to Instagram. Next. TrueHouse. TrueHouse. Truthful. Tuesday. Number 369. Honest. With at post that. Posting. And then go back on and do that and do that and do that. And good, good, good. Well, here we go. And we're back on, baby. Okay, I'm going to just wait for Lee to come back on camera. Having a fantastic chat with my friend Lee Spruson tonight for the second time running. Had Lee first, and then Doug, and now Lee again tonight. So let's get Lee back on. Go live with Lee. Let's get this. He's sharing a really a good fun anecdote here about. Here he is. Okay, so let's just. I want to hear the rest. So 24 cans of Stella in you. I want to hear.
24
Go on.
Stella in me climbing up the side of a block of flats so I can break into my own bedroom.
Oh my God! And what sort of age were you at the time?
17.
17.
18.
Yeah, yeah. It's a time, man. It's a time. I under. It's a time of life where if someone suggests something crazy, you basically say, yeah, you just do it. You do it to dare yourself and to test yourself, and also to prove a point in front of your mates as well. There's lots of reasons behind it.
Again, I think it was just more where I was mentally as well. It was a
Right.
way of life.
Right.
I wouldn't class myself as an alcoholic, although I did have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Food really wasn't my thing back then. I would drink a hell of a lot though.
Okay. Okay.
So probably about 4 nights out of the 7, I would have a good drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like a case of Stella would do me like a night time.
God.
So.
And tell me, what were your days like at that age? Were you working at the time, or?
Yeah, I was working for in Argos in Bromley.
Okay. Yeah. I know that one. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I had done 4 years there. I started 17 and I left there around 21.
Wow. It's pretty good, actually. It's a pretty good stretch at that age. Most people at that age do 6 months here and 6 months there and 6 months there. That's some good stickability. That's some good staying power to do anything at 17,
I started working
21.
young. I started working at 12.
Did you?
Yeah, so my first secondary school, I was only there for a couple of months, was bullied, bashed up. I got beaten up for about an hour on a bus by everyone on the bus.
Okay.
Left, they ruptured my appendix and I had to have them removed.
Really?
Yeah, I was black and blue. It wasn't a good experience.
Let me guess. They just stamped on you, right? Just stamped all over you and kicked you all about, right? Smothered you
Yeah, when
and
people
just...
couldn't kick or punch or stamp, they would spit and just hurl, throw things and
everything.
all I've done was sit down.
Fuck me. You know, no, I just got an image in my head, mate, of you saying that. It's just, kids can be incredibly cruel. Incredibly
I
cruel.
was such a timid and quiet kid.
Same here, mate. Wouldn't say boo to a goose. Yeah. Yeah.
Really struggled with education anyway, because I'm dyslexic. I struggle with language, including numbers.
Right, yeah, I bet you are, yeah, yeah.
But with the language, I really struggled with. I mean, I remember like doing a spelling test in year 6, which was like the last year of primary school, and I think I got 1 out of 20 right.
Really?
And it was heartbreaking because everyone would sit there taking the piss, and it's just like, where'd you turn? Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is it. They've got no. I mean, do you think generally kids these days? I know they've got a different type of bullying, a different type of cruelty because it's round the clock, 24/7 social media. The sort of bullying you and I experienced, thankfully, comparatively speaking, was within the hours of the school day or whatever. Come 3-4 o'clock off that dreaded school bus and the kicking you took on the school bus, you'd at least get away from it and have some respite overnight. However, I think the time that you were raised and I was raised, it was possibly more physical, just literally getting more beatings, whereas nowadays it's more, keyboard beatings, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say mine was between the hours of 9 till 3, but I was getting a lot of like shit at home as well, like from my mum.
Really?
Yeah, she was the
Oh,
main
boy.
reason why I tried taking my life originally at 11.
What did you try, if I may ask?
What was she trying?
Well,
Or
no,
what
what was your when you were 11? How did you try and hurt yourself? If you
I attempted to hang myself.
oh, Lee,
Okay. Got some stereo leads,
yeah,
tied them together.
strong enough.
Made like a new strand, the post of my bunk bed, and I dangled. And I remember, like my eyes really feeling a lot of pressure in them.
Yeah.
And started rolling in the back of my head. And I remember being quite at peace, knowing what was happening.
Really?
And for whatever reason, the news broke.
Fucking hell.
And I never plucked up the courage to do it again.
No. That's interesting, that word courage. Sorry to interrupt, but I've always had a bit of a disagreement with people that talk about attempting suicide, because often the public will say, oh, it's a coward's way out, it's a coward's way out. I'm like, no, it takes fucking balls to have a go. You say it's a coward's way out because that's the public's perception, because what we leave in the aftermath if you are successful. But as you say, you never had the courage to do it again. It's a frightening prospect to try, isn't it, to actually have an attempt.
The fact that I thought I was successful, and I remember my last thoughts feeling really at peace with what I was doing.
It's interesting. Wow.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
Because I look at what I have now, and I look at my journey now, and life ain't perfect, but it's perfect for me compared to where I've been.
Absolutely. And there's no way at 11, Lee, you would have had the foresight to see where you were going now. You know, you can't see 20 years ahead and go, oh, I'm going to have, or 17, 18 years ahead and say, oh, I'm going to have a life and a wife and kids and you know.
The reason why I done it was because I believed everything my mum was telling me. And without going into detail, she was pretty much putting the blames of the world on my shoulders, and I agreed with her. Okay. And I weren't worthy enough to be on this planet. So that was sort of the path I chose.
What? Oh God! Again, I don't want to push the conversation too much, but my first thought is, and I've never met your mum, but my first thought is, well, my two thoughts are, why did she put that on you, and where was Dad? You know, what was the sort of situation with those two questions?
We lived in a very...
Don't answer if you're not happy, Lee. That goes without saying. Please.
I'm trying to think of the right ways of doing it. So my dad's like my hero. Like I love my dad to bits. Like, for as bad of a relationship I had with my mum, my dad was like, he's like my best friend. Like, even now, like I was round his house this evening and we were just talking about good times. You know
Nice. Good.
But my dad would work every given hour. I mean, he would do like 13 to 18 hour days sometimes. Like he would do double, even triple shift down at the post office.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Done that for many a year.
All right, that's something I can relate to. Those like post office hours. Yeah. Okay.
We struggled like financially, and my dad done his best to make sure we had some form of life. Right. So my dad provided, thinking that my mum was taking care of us lot.
And how many were there in your fam? Was it like your siblings? Is there three of you?
So, yes. There's me, who's the eldest, my sister, who's 15 months younger than me. Right. And my brother, that's 7 years, bar 2 days younger than me.
Okay. So also a little bit of pressure about being the oldest as well. You know, that's always got its own...
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much raised my brother.
Right.
I had to do night feeds with him. I've done, like, I just sleep with him over weekends and like get up and change his nappies.
Wow.
And bear in mind, I would have been 7, 8
I
years
was
old.
going to say, yeah, if you would have been, yeah, a very young boy yourself. Was mum, again, and please don't think I'm being pushy. I don't want to push too hard, but I'm genuinely curious. Why do you think that was happening? Where was mum? I mean, was she also working, or was she just not
No, my
so?
mum didn't start working again till I was in secondary school. So I
Okay.
think my brother was about 4
Okay.
years old when my mum went back to work.
Right. Interesting. So, if your brother's 4, that puts you at 11. So you're 7 years older, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's a long time for you. And do you think mum was just struggling with the fact that she had, 2 sons and a daughter, 3 girls, and was she a relatively young mum, and dad working all the hours God sends? I'm just trying to fathom a picture.
My mum had me when I was 18.
Right.
But I mean, like, so my dad was saying, like, today that she pushed for my brother, like, for years, like, back and forth, like, I want another baby. And my dad was saying, no, I can't afford it. And one time they give in, like, and my brother come along.
Okay.
But I mean, I always try to do right by my brother.
Yeah.
We're not close anymore, sadly.
That was my next question, actually. What's your relationship like with him now?
I mean, he had his own different, unique relationship with me mum. I mean, my mum almost put him on a pedestal, which he didn't want.
Right.
And I think that had because he could see what was going on with me and my sister.
Right.
And he knew that it was alienating him.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you think a bit of guilt as well? Would he have felt a little bit of guilt? I mean, not guilt that he's created, but because mum put him on a pedestal as the younger.
Didn't. I mean, we tried to like manipulate the situation almost, where we would go, well, it's all right, we'll use you to get what we all want, sort of thing.
Right, yeah.
We would manipulate the situations to our needs. Do you know what I mean?
Understood. Yeah.
I mean, we like I say, I mean, in terms of like school education, I'm done as a post, but I mean, I've got a good education in life. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. Your flight time with life experience is vast, and you've also got technically a very good mind. Mathematically and technically, you're very sharp, very bright. Just because you're not chucking out long frickin' words, so what? It's people talking fancy language. That's the least impressive thing, I think. As a lover of long words myself, it doesn't actually denote any sort of intelligence, really. It doesn't. Really interestingly, listening to I didn't know any of that, what you've just said. I didn't have a clue. Well, why would I? But so
this is half. Well, the big reason why I put weight on.
Yeah. Oh God, I can understand it now more. Yeah.
My mum's been dead now for 4, 5 years. I'm not too sure how long, but it's been a good few years.
Right.
And it's been about the same length of time that I was able to rebuild me, because she's not got that hold over me anymore.
God, this is interesting, Lee. This is painful and interesting. Brutal question. Do you, and this is not the right language, but do you almost, because I know I do you almost feel a sense of relief? As sad as it is that she's gone, and my mum went 2 years ago, and I'll say it, I feel a sense of, I drove past her house the other day, and I felt a sense of relief that she is in a better place now, because it was bloody horrible. The last 2.5, 3 years, that's why I came back down here to Dorset, was to nurse her and to be with her, and it was bloody horrible, mate. It was horrible.
Yeah, there is a sense of relief. It's really sad, actually, because I cut ties with my mum when my daughter was a toddler. I didn't have no relationship with her at all. Like, it just didn't exist to me.
Right.
And I remember getting a phone call off of my aunt when my son he was already toddling about, probably even in nursery.
Right.
And I'd said she's got cancer. And she asked if I would go and see her. And I didn't answer straight away, but I was leaning towards, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
Right. Right.
A couple of days passed and I get a phone call off of my other aunt asking the same question, and I relented. Went down to see her, and she was in a bad way. And I wouldn't talk about our past because for me that wasn't the cause of the journey. Because for us, it was I felt towards her. I didn't wish her that type of life, like being ill or dying. And I don't wish that upon anybody. Do you know what I mean? Even like my worst enemy, which I don't know why people say that. I don't have a worst enemy. I don't do enemies.
No, I was going to say it's not Sherlock Holmes, is it? It's not like, oh, you're my arch enemy. Yeah, we don't. It doesn't really happen in the real world. Why have you got enemies? Yeah.
So I remember going down there, and I'm one of them people. If I can help somebody, I will help you.
Yeah. Yeah, you are. Yeah.
And I said to her, look, if there's anything you need, pick up the phone. Well, actually, I need someone to come to appointments with me.
Right.
So, okay, give me some dates and I'll make it happen. I was the only one that was doing hospital appointments. I have everybody that was still in touch with her. The person that, very much, she's also got another 2 kids. The one that had sort of severed relationship and went about his life. I was the one doing all the running around.
Yeah.
At the time, it was actually around the time I met you, Justin, and I'd been working with Andrew, and I'd started losing me weight again, and I was doing quite well. And as soon as I got in contact with her again, I stopped everything and I started putting the weight back on.
Interesting. That's very interesting, Lee. Wow, that's a connection.
Fast forward 18 months, and she was told she was in remission.
Right.
And she's also bought an house with her partner, but she's not with my dad anymore.
Right.
And they was going to move into Kent. Anyway, I said I'd help them move. And I remember being in the car on the motorway, and she starts doing her normal shit. She starts manipulating, nitpicking, and starts really putting the boot in with me.
Wow.
But this time I'm not this kid anymore, and I've got an understanding of how the woman ticks, right?
Right, yep. You're a man now.
I remember turning around, saying, you need to back up now, leave well alone.
Yep.
Or I'm going to be diving into the back of this car and I'll kick 10 bells out of you.
Whoa. Have that.
Not an happy man.
Have that as a wake.
Not happy.
No, as a wake up call.
The thing is, he had a wicked tongue. Wicked tongue.
Really?
And she would manipulate it. And my issue was, I've done nothing but self-hate on myself all my life.
Right.
And I didn't want to feel that way anymore. And I've got kids, and I don't need to be going back to that dark place anymore with the responsibilities I have.
No.
So I felt it was just to warn her.
God. Could she push your buttons like no one else?
Yes. She could do that with anybody.
More than anyone. God,
she could do that to anyone.
Listening to you is giving me shivers, because that's what my mum could do. She could say something. She could say one sentence and I'd be here and I'd come down to here. She could crush me with a little snidey comment, Lee. Just the littlest, snidiest throwaway comment, and I'd be like, I now feel like a piece of shit. Thank you very much. No one else could, just mum.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It's hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
No, that's why you moved away, right?
Yeah. And I did my duty, and I came back and I helped her die. I stuck around until she drew her last breath, and I held her hand and watched her take her last bloody breath. And
See, I didn't hang around that long.
right. I regret doing that, Lee. I've been very open about that with my brother. My brother asked the other day why I did that. I said, I don't know, out of some silly sense of duty. I stuck around with her sister, and it wasn't a pretty sight. It wasn't like the Hollywood films, where they peacefully drift off. No, she made some strange noises and pulled some funny faces, and it wasn't pretty. But yes, I am haunted by that, and I do regret doing it. But I did it. I can't undo it. And I watched her physically leave, her conscious self. I watched her actually die. And that's not a metaphor, that's very physical, and it was quite brutal. And yeah, I did feel, in the immediate aftermath, I felt a sense of relief, because right up until the end, until she was conscious, she could still be a nasty piece of work to me. She could say one thing about the way I was dressed or my appearance or whatever that would just fucking ruin me, just pick me apart. If I had an idea or something I was doing in life, or related to work or business, or an endeavour, something I was trying to do, she would just chip away. She would just knock away and just crush me, And as you say, your mum, she had a tongue on her, and just, it's weird, isn't it? Our relationships with our mums, very weird.
It's just paths. I mean, I think you said it a few times. There's a lot of similarity, although we've took very different paths.
Yeah.
In terms of how we've gone about navigated them, have been very similar.
Good word. Absolutely, Lee. Very similar. Spookily so. So, you said a few things tonight that I've listened to you saying it, and I'm like, oh, that's Mum 2.0. Holy shit. It's weird.
I wish I knew you a lot sooner. You could give me some pointers.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be like, get ready for this. When she says that, you'll want to kill her. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Lee.
Not even funny. I actually plotted to kill her.
Don't, mate. I had my brother say to me, Justin, you got to leave the house because you're going to fucking strangle her. So, I'd be like, I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill her. And he was like, she's dying anyway. I was like, I know, but I'm going to speed it up. Really bad.
I know this is when she was healthy.
Crazy. What is it about our mothers that can do that? It's so weird.
My mum was a very peculiar character, and I'm never ever going to understand her.
No, and you don't even bother. Yeah.
When my daughter was being born, my mum was there, and I couldn't have been prouder.
Right. Yeah, I bet.
Like Mary, my partner, she had really bad labour. I mean, that flat looked like a murder thing.
Oh, bless her.
And after we'd been to the hospital, my mum come back and she cleared all the house and she cleaned up all the blood, everything. Like, it's really spot on.
Wow.
2 days. That's what we're going to say nice to me, boy.
Yeah, go on. Oh.
Yeah.
Bless him. That was nice.
And so she come back, she cleared all the flat, and you wouldn't have even known it was as bad as it was, yeah?
Wow.
She'd also been at the hospital when my daughter was born, and my partner took quite a bad turn. Like, she had like a seizure after giving birth.
She had a what, sorry?
She had like a seizure after giving birth. It's really weird.
Oh, bless her. Oh, wow.
She was sitting there one moment eating toast and drinking tea, going, "Oh, we've got a little baby
Yeah,
girl."
yeah. Look at our new life. Yeah.
Her lungs went limp, and she was like, just. It looked like she was dying. I mean, it scared the life out of me.
I was going to say, that must have been absolutely frightening for you. For both. Well, was she aware of it? Was she aware or not? No.
She come round, and I was like leaning over her, screaming blue murder, like, if you fucking leave me, like, I'm not going to forgive you, sort of thing.
Yeah, right. I mean, did you just...
We just brought this baby into the world, and like, you're clocking out.
Yeah, it's like a bloody movie, isn't it? It's like those awful scenes in, like the child is born and then the mother taps out and dies, after childbirth. What did you do? I mean, it's a silly question, but I haven't been in that situation. Did you just hit the alarm bell or just scream for a nurse or a doctor? What was how
I
did you?
think I've done all the above and a
All the
few
above,
other
yeah,
things, to
yeah.
be honest with you.
Help,
I
yeah.
remember just going absolutely bananas.
Yeah,
Like, everyone's going, get out of the way, get out of the way. But it's such a fast panic.
Yeah.
You don't know where to get out of the way to. 'Cause there's like
Right.
from 0 to 12 people in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all of a sudden, just like a rugby scrum of people. Wow.
She
Poor
come
girl.
to, and she's like, "What's the matter with you guys?"
What's all the fuss? Yeah,
Like,
what are you lot doing here? God. Well, as you.
walked into the room and going, "What are you talking about this?"
Oh, bless her, bless her. Tell her I'm trustworthy. I mean, it sounds to me, as you say, it was a traumatic birth, and that may have, may well have exasperated it. I mean, poor girl.
That day, I genuinely thought that maybe, just maybe, there could be some bridges built with me mum.
Well, you'd think so. Under the extreme circumstances, like you say, that can often be a bonding thing, can't it? Because it's such literally a life-changing day. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
Within 2 weeks, she messed it up.
She back to business again, back to being the. Oh God.
So,
It was. Like you say,
she broke
that
my
was the
heart.
olive branch. That was the olive
we
branch,
was-
wasn't it?
We was going down to my dad's, and it was the first time we'd left the house with my daughter. And we were going to go down and see my dad.
And your daughter's literally a couple of weeks old now. She's.
Yeah.
Yeah, little tiny thing.
We weren't even on the road they lived on, and you could hear her screaming and shouting as she didn't want us in her house.
Oh no! Stop it! Stop it!
Really.
Really?
And
Oh God!
that was me done after that.
Yeah, I bet you're like, should we turn the car around now? Jesus, that's
Just-
not nice, is it? I mean, I'm not stating the obviously, but that, yeah. Again, even hearing you say that, their ability to make us feel unwanted, unwelcome. Whether it's blatant screaming, as you said with yours, or something more sneaky. My mum had a terrible habit of talking about me on the phone to another family member or friend, and I'd hear just in this and just in that and just in this. And I towards the sort of last year of her life, and I stopped when she was very sick, but I'd be like, Mum, what are you saying about me? Because guess what? I can bloody hear you. So what is it? I'm here. I'm waiting on you like a servant. I'm doing every bit of cleaning, every bit of shopping, every meal, all your medication, every bit of transportation, literally wiping your ass. What am I doing wrong? And you're still slagging me off. Why am I such a failure? What have I done? You know what I mean?
It is disgusting. I mean, from what you've said, and even from other people that have been on, like, whether it's through text or been on camera with you, you had that fella from America that you said was your boss.
Yeah.
You've had success in life, right? It's not like you've done nothing with your time. Like, you've got such a unique story, which no one else could ever live that life.
It's been colourful. It's been pretty rad. Yeah, it's been good. Well, it's been not all good, but yeah, it's certainly been I think there's a book there to be written. Yeah.
There's no. I appreciate that the way that they with the tumour and obviously the abuse of drugs and that. And I'm not qualified to talk about this by any stretch, but there's so much of it that you'd probably redo again, albeit tweak certain parts and steer away from the very few parts.
Correct.
But like, you are more than well lived. You've lived probably multiple lives and been successful with huge chunks of them as well.
Yeah, honestly, at the risk of sounding like one of those people that said, I could have been a contender, I was nearly there. But yes, I was, I told Doug this not long ago. I would actually redo it all again. I know it's a silly question because none of us can redo it again. You only have one roll of the dice, but I would do it all the same. But as you've rightly said, Lee, there's literally 3 or 4 little tweaks there that I would swerve, So yeah, certain painkillers that I was prescribed for genuine pain, that I then got stuck on, and a habit became an addiction, became an absolute prisoner lifestyle, and coming off opioids is extremely hard. you know, it's not like giving up smoking where you put on a nicotine patch and you're kind of okay in a few months. You know, stopping opiates properly is very, very hard. But yeah, you're right. Without the painkillers, I do it pretty much the same. I would just tone it down a little bit in a few areas, but I'd certainly, you know, whether it be the skateboarding or the bodybuilding or the extreme sports I did, and just I pretty much run it through again, you know, and just a few little trims here and there of some excessive things I did, but you know, I mean, what was your relationship like with Dad? Because by the sounds of it, you've got a lovely relationship now with your dad.
95%, well, even 99% of the time, mine and my dad's relationship's always been gold.
Good, good.
He didn't. I knew he wasn't proud of my weight. He's very old school and he's very straight and direct with what he says. And there'd be many a time that he would say, "I don't know how you live in your skin. I couldn't do it." And he didn't say that from like a nasty sniping point of view.
No.
It hurt.
Of course, of course.
He just wanted better for me, and
Yes.
I don't think. I think it's natural for a child, regardless of age, to
Yeah.
want to make your parents proud.
I agree, Lee. I emphatically agree with that. Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's only been the last 18 months that I really do believe that I'm now making him proud.
Good for you. Good for you. And he's here and present, and you can see him, and that is
Yeah.
beautiful. Oh, mate, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
It's really it's really weird that we're talking about this because me and my dad was talking about it earlier.
Really.
So the January 2019, so obviously I was big.
Yeah.
That was when I was weight unknown. We didn't know how big I was.
Right. Right.
So I
Yeah.
would have been 500 pounds plus.
Good Lord. Wow.
But my highest recorded weight is 35 stone, but I was above that.
Wow.
So
You've done so well. You've done so bloody well.
well, he had a X-ray for at the dentist, and in the X-ray, just beyond where they should be looking, they saw a lump.
Okay.
And they went, we are not qualified to say what it is or isn't but you need to go see a doctor.
Yes. Yes.
And get it looked at. And I was already on the waiting list for surgery, and he rings me up to tell me this news, and he's going, "It's going to be brain cancer." I know it's going to be, and I'm okay with that.
Right. Right. Wow.
Right?
He was kind of preparing himself for it.
No, I start thinking I'm not going to be able to make him proud of me.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I get it. Mm.
Like, I would get quite upset talking to him about it, and I would say to him, like, I need you to see this journey. I need you to see me succeed.
Yeah, you want him to see Lee living in a different skin. Yeah, yeah.
And because my dad's always done the weight training, he's always been relatively healthy, you know, and I just wanted to be in his image almost, you know, and show what I can do.
Absolutely.
And he's seen my strength, and he knows that how I am as a man.
Yeah, yeah.
But I needed him to see me healthy and be successful in this journey that I've attempted so many times. And let's be honest, I always ended up coming up short and falling on my face.
Right, right. Yep.
And again, that's not me criticising, because I always got back up and tried again.
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty, man. Bloody right. Bloody right. It's your ability to get back up, you know.
But it turned out it was wisdom teeth that never come through.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's one of those. That's like a huge relief. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
And,
how old's your
the
dad?
rest of the year with them. My dad is 60. He's going to be 66 in December.
That's good. That's good. That's not old. That's I'm glad you said that. Anything under 70 for a dad is thumbs up with me, mate. You know, my mum went at 71, dad went at 72, and yeah, that's good for you, man. Because, you know, not being funny, you know, it's so long as your dad's okay, you can have him for 20 more years, buddy. You know, it's seriously, that's Jesus Christ.
That's what I said to him.
Joe Biden's 78.
I mean, that's one of them people that's glass half empty.
Is he? Is he?
Yeah. So as far as he's concerned, he's on his last legs.
Ah.
But I said to him, I said to him, I said, Dad, like, you're one of them stubborn fuckers that will say they're dying for years and you'll live to be 90.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Yeah, yeah. He'll probably go, "Oh, I'm a realist," and you're like, "No, you're a pessimist." But yeah, he's probably quite stoical. He's probably a stoic, and you know, stubborn, and just will live on, like you say. You'll see him, you know, 77, 87, you know, and won't that be lovely for him to see you as his son? You know, you'll be in your 40s and in your 50s, and then of course he'll see his grandchildren in their teens and 20s, and you know, lovely.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously he's got a great grandchild as well, because obviously, like, little Ryan, who we took on,
oh, of course,
his great grandchild.
Of course, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
How old's he now?
Ryan, he's 19, 20 months old.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So, yeah, he's a little handful.
Is that? Oh, look at that face! Look at that face! I love it. That's a cool kid. That's so cute. That's so cute. Oh, I mean this in a nice way. You know that. What I would say cartoon cute. You know what I mean? Like super cute little features, just like little man. That's so sweet, man. That's so sweet. Well, Lee.
He's a little character. I'll say he's been at nursery all day. My partner, she works as in a nursery. Okay. And she does to Wednesdays. She was full time, but she changed her hours when we got the baby.
Right.
Because he's hard work.
Really?
He really is hard work.
Challenging.
Yeah. And so she changed her hours, but he now goes to work with her.
Does he? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so he's now at nursery now.
Oh, wow.
3 days a week. And they didn't get home until gone 7. But I was at my dad's when they got home, so I walked in and he was still up. Ooh. And he's come straight over and gives me a cuddle. And like he goes, like, Mrs. Ventimi, he didn't do that with the kids. He only does that with you. I said, yeah, but he used to be in with me all day, every day.
Right, yeah.
It was nice.
It's so lovely, Lee, because what you're describing is full circle. You know, the way I am listening to you, and all I'm seeing in my head by listening to your story is, you know, your missus and your version, your roll of the dice, your children will have, they won't, let me put it this way, they won't be experiencing those feelings you experienced. You know, you are frankly going to prevent that, you know, and that's the lovely enhancement in life, is that when, you know, as you say, you know, your parents, or, you know, I wonder how your parents were, and, you know, each generation can and often does get better. And you're proof of that. You're proof of that now. You're doing it right now. Better version.
The way that I've tried to be is pretty much break the chain, literally just destroy it and start afresh.
Yeah.
And make sure the groundwork is done.
Right.
And the groundwork being morals and how you get to live with yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's okay to make mistakes.
Yep.
But you've got to learn by them.
Yep.
Because if you keep repeating them, they're no longer mistakes, they're bad choices.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, it's not realistic to say to yourself or to your children, you won't make mistakes, you can't do mistakes. Of course they will. I'll make a mistake tomorrow. I bet I will, doing something, you know, but it's, yeah, as you say, don't rinse and repeat, because that's when you're just, yeah, that's that's really not part of the plan. You know, even when mistakes are done, you know, 3, 4, 5 times, just don't do them again and again and again and again and again and again. You know, because that's when you just, yeah, defeats the
I
object.
think making the same mistake is fine, providing you've done something slightly different to get to that point.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah, indeed. You know, Lee, it's actually, the more I think about it, just listening to your story, it gives me a great sense of positivity and hope. It really does, you know, because it's not over, mate. It's not over. You know,
Just begun.
you know, mate, I'm, even in my own silly situation, I'm fully aware that it's late, you know, in terms of me at 49, how am I going to pull it off, you know, find a woman, start a family some way, somehow. But it's not impossible. It's hard, it will be challenging, but it's not impossible. Yes, it would have been better if I'd done it at 35, at 40, whatever, but if I can do it in the next few years, and number one would be finding a partner, and then, you know, it's like, you know, whether I adopt or foster a child or whatever, you know, it's something I'd like to do. I don't like the idea of it just being me now.
There's 101 ways on how this can pan out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And well, even more than that. Let's face it, it's an infinite number.
Yes.
But even if it was a case of, say, 10 years down the line, hopefully it's sooner. Let's be honest. I mean, we all want companionship.
Yeah.
And you bypass the stage of parent, but that doesn't mean you can't bypass the stage of being a grandparent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True. That's true. Yeah, that's very true. That is true.
And the beautiful thing about that is you can still sleep at night.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yeah, no, it's true, man. It's not. I mean, like, literally, mate. My entire objective now is to get as many years as I can. You know, I said this to Dougie as well. I just look at the goal now as thinking, you know, can I get to 89 or 99 or 109? You know, what can I get out of this mileage now? Just because I've had enough bad health for a lifetime. So I think that I should be looking at improving and getting better as I grow older, not going downhill. Just, you know, getting better and lighter and righter and yeah, something will happen, you know.
Thing is, as well, with the characteristics that you have, and let's face it, with every single venture that you've done, you've proven time and time again that you like to defy the odds.
Yes.
And you'll go any lengths necessary to achieve your goal. So if
Yeah.
you're saying 89, 99, etc.,
I'll do it.
you'll find the way.
I'll pull it off, yeah. A bit of modern medicine and science, I'll do it, yeah. A bit of surgery.
It'll take a crazy person to bet against you, right?
Say again?
I said it will take a crazy person to bet against you.
Absolutely. I mean, Lee, I was discharged earlier this year, only about 2 months ago, from my spine surgeon with the spine tumour, you know. And it was a very aggressive cancer. And they said to me, look, if you get 10 years, then we're going to sign you off. And I've reached those 10 years now, because my spine tumour was November 2009 at Metroflex. You know, it was actually, my back broke on a Saturday morning at Metroflex doing front squats, believe it or not, and Doug was there. And the point I'm making is that surgery happened in November 2009. The injury happened in August 2009. So I'm 11, 12 years on now. So I've been discharged. They've said, you know, that cancer would have come back by now if it was coming back. So that tumour, you're good. Go, live your life. You know, and that wasn't the prognosis. The prognosis was, well, we're going to watch him for 3 to 5 years if he survives. It was a really bleak prognosis. Once they'd done the surgery for 16 hours, 45 minutes, that was a very long surgery, and put the 17 inches of metal in my spine. Once they'd done that, they were like, you know what, this is such risky surgery, we've just got to suck it and see. And now 11 years on, they're like, go, fuck off. You know, so that's a good beat in the odds, yeah. So
well, by all accounts, everything that you've said to me and like you've said on your podcasts, that's what you do.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I will continue to do so. Wow, we've done it again, Lee. We've had another brilliant 2-hour conversation. The best conversation we've had so far, I feel.
Number 3.
Yes, it is number 3. Yeah, you're ahead of Doug now. You're 3 to his 1. Yeah, he's got 2 to catch you up on now. So I'm going to keep alternating these between you and Doug. There's actually 2 more guys, one called Tom Reeder and one called Duncan Meadows. I was looking at my immediate people I know who could have really good chats. And, I'm just going to send one. Tom's the guy that's done all the film work on me, the documentary. So he's known me for 17 years. But I never not want to talk to you. I always want to talk to you. I love these conversations because you're just, I find it relaxing talking to you. It's not stressful talking to you. It's interesting, it's funny, it's different, and it's very honest as well. Like neither of us are talking shit. Both of us tell the truth, and it's just so, I find it really refreshing talking to you, man. Seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And likewise, I've learned a lot about myself, obviously, like watching and partaking. Even like the last couple of times I've done this as well. When you first asked me to come on, I was like, "Oh damn, I ain't ready for this."
Mate, you're doing so well. Yeah, you're doing so well because it's, a conversation's a funny thing to have, and I'm realizing, as Joe Rogan says, there is an art to talking, and one thing I'm learning now, I'm learning more than ever, is that I'm not falling all over myself in a hurry to talk. There are some people that they love the sound of their own voice a little bit too much, and I don't want to be one of those guys. I want to let you talk. I want to be listening. I'm listening to you, and not just hearing you, but really listening to you. And my responses to your sentences should be a direct reaction to what you've just said, not some pre-planned bloody cool sentence that I've got locked in my mind. I hate those conversations. A conversation should change direction depending on what is said.
No, but I think in terms of like what you're doing now, obviously with just me and Dougie at the moment, I think it does help a lot. Going forward, obviously, it's nice to know who's coming on, so you can have like a start of a conversation, and then just let it flow from there.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah.
I loved last night's show. I was gutted I missed the beginning. Absolutely gutted.
Oh, don't. Well, it's on. I only today when I got on my Instagram and I just swiped it across left, it shows like your conversation, all 3 parts, and Doug's conversation, all 3 parts. I didn't even know that. So on my basic Instagram homepage where it's just got photographs, just a simple swipe to the left, and that shows all these videos. So last night, dude, just slide it across, buddy, because last night's is on there, you're on there, and it just says part 3 with Lee, and then part 3 with Doug, and it's like each one's like it's got 3 parts to it. It's fantastic. So I love it, mate. I'm grateful to have people like you and Doug on, because it's just a truthful, factual, honest life conversation. There's no point proving, there's no scoring, there's no ego, there's no nonsense. It's just 2 people being brutally honest, and that's all I want. That's all it is.
What life's about, right?
Yeah, that's about as healthy as it gets, especially in this day and age where everything's cynical and political and tribal, and yeah. It's great.
And the funny thing is, we're doing this on a thing called the internet.
I know. Yes, it can be a force for good as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's social media, mate, and we're using it for a good purpose. Yes.
It's unheard of. We're breaking so many rules.
I know. Yeah. We've got to have a falling out now, mate, to make up for it. Yeah, we've got to have some political division now. All right, Lee. Listen, I'm gonna.
Really good.
Absolutely, thank you, mate. Honestly, it's an honour, absolute honour, and I just hope you have a nice rest of the evening with your lady there. All right.
I'm sure I will.
I'm
just not looking forward to the leg cramps kicking in.
Oh no, of course, yeah, that'll be tomorrow. Yeah, you've got all that to look forward to. All right, mate.
That'll be fun.
I'll speak to you very soon, Lee. All right. Thank you for your time and thank you for the chat. All right, buddy. Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Cheers. Oh man, that was great. That was great. Oh. I'm going to say goodnight to you guys here over on YouTube. So thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. All right, I'll see you tomorrow night, episode 370 of TrueHouse. With me, Justin House. Good night.